In half an hour, we're going to spend the rest of the podcast roasting him.
And we are live.
All right, what up, guys?
What is up?
So, Austen is here, but A.G Hayden might potentially flake. We'll see. Hopefully not. Hopefully he shows up. What do you think is the likelihood he'll show up?
42%.
I'll say 90%. I think he's probably just running late.
Yeah, I think 70%.
Yeah, that would be not cool, man.
That'd be really not cool.
What's the thing that you usually do when you get flaked on twice by a girl? You get flaked on once, for that matter.
Hit her with a takeaway. Like, I genuinely didn't take you for the flaky type.
Should we have said that to Avery last week? I didn't take you for the flaky type.
If he doesn't respond in the next 20 minutes, I'll hit him with a takeaway.
All right, cool.
I didn't take you for that type of podcaster.
Yeah. All right. So, what is the topic for today, boys?
Girls, women across the world, game across the world.
I think all over the world.
I think it's actually a pretty good topic because between the three of us, we've traveled through like 80% of the world, or at least the part of the world.
Basically, yeah.
Worth.
Have either of you guys traveled to Asia or no?
No.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, you have? Okay. Yeah. So Austen and I have been to Asia. I've been to 3 countries there. And yeah, I guess so. Alex, you've been to Europe and South America?
Europe, South America, Central America, most of the US. Yeah. Oh, there he is.
Hey, no takeaway needed.
Bro, the shirt's already off. We don't even have to take it off.
Yeah. We already have 400 viewers, so. Well, or what's the next milestone? We all take our shirts off. I think
500. But we got to talk about Andrew Tater. It's never going to happen.
1,000 viewers. We will sacrifice a goat on live.
Oh, nice.
All right. So who's going to be doing the sacrificing? Austen.
And who's going to be the
volunteered yourself?
Probably me. I think I'm the only one with a big backyard.
He's going to kill it with his dildo.
Evan, what's
guys? If we hit 500 live viewers, Austen will buy a goat and he will beat it to death with his 21-inch dildo. So get those likes up, guys.
I thought it was like 4
subscribe. Huh?
Evan, what city are you in?
I'm in Dallas, but I'm going to be moving to Asia in a month. So
okay, nice.
Perfect for the topic today.
Yeah, exactly.
Maxing. Couldn't get laid in America, huh?
That's exactly it, man.
Why don't we start off
just hung around Coach Whitepill for too long, and I ended up becoming like him. I need to go back. I need to Asia Max again in order to stand a chance.
Why don't we start off talking about the U.S., the best places in the U.S. for game?
Okay.
I think between all of us, we probably traveled through most of the U.S. I've personally been on the East Coast, West Coast, South Coast, Texas, pretty much everywhere but the Midwest. I spent extensive time in. I think the big thing with the U.S., this is my theory, is that second-tier cities are better for game than first-tier cities. So second-tier city will be like Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and a first-tier city will be like L.A., Miami, New York. And my theory is that because when you have a city that a lot of people, that's like not that popping basically, then most of the guys who have money and status just move out and move to a first-tier city. But girls are less likely to move because their family's there and whatnot, so they're less mobile. So you have like a disproportionate amount of like quality girls to non-quality guys.
So I'd say there's a degree of truth to that. It depends on the second tier city. For example, like Tucson, that's where I'm from. There's not many hot girls. There's some college girls at the sorority bars that are all right. Those are not the best game venues anyway. But if you go to somewhere like New Orleans, there's this college area where the girls are really hot. It's like 70% girls, and they'll approach you more often than any other city I've ever been to. So there's like these little golden areas that are super easy in B-list cities, but there's never going to be as many 9s and 10s.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But does it matter if there's a bunch of 9s and 10s if you're not even in the league for the 9s and 10s?
Well, yeah, if you're not getting anything, then I suppose the 8s from a small town is pretty good.
Yeah, you're a bit biased, Avery, because you're in Vegas, and that's where, like, well, actually, every type of girl shows up there, including the hottest ones. And usually they're there to party, so it's a bit different. But yeah, for me, you know, the vast majority of my life I've lived in Philly up to 25. I've also had experience in Austin and in Vegas. Those places in particular. I guess the Jersey Shore too, but that's kind of an extension of Philly almost. So yeah, Philly is both very overrated and underrated at the same time. It's underrated in the sense that just the logistics of the city. There's only like one part that's habitable, and the rest of the city's trash. So that's Center
Like
City. It's
Vegas.
very walkable. Yeah, exactly. It's literally like Vegas. It's like you have the strip, and then everything around is just trash. So in Philly, it's the same way, and it's actually probably about the same size as the strip, maybe a little bit bigger. But yeah, it's, you know, last time I went there, I went to go up there to visit some friends pretty recently, and it was pretty popping post-COVID, more than what I remember. But there's a few things going on there. First, it has the second biggest metropolitan area in the entire United States behind our biggest downtown area behind Midtown Manhattan. So when you go out, you're going to have a lot of competition in the sense that, you know,
Good
I'm
question.
a pretty big guy. I'm 6'2", but when I go out in bars in Philly, it's like I'm like normal height. Like there's a lot of like tall chads walking around. It's just that the tall chads tend to have like zero game, so it's okay. But yeah, it's just something to keep in mind in Philly.
So I'd say the best city depends on your type too, largely, right? So Vegas is great if you like variety because you get everything. You get Europeans, you get Asians, you get Latinas, you get everything. If you specifically really like Latinas, then obviously Miami, somewhere, where else? Phoenix is decent, but Miami's probably the best. Fort Lauderdale, somewhere like that.
I would not say Miami would be the best.
Really? Why not? Where would be better?
I would pick a different city in Florida, like where Austen lives, like in Tampa or Jacksonville, or like a second-tier city in Florida that has a high Latin population.
Really?
The dating marketplace is insanely competitive in Miami.
Well, I've only visited. I found it to be, you know, pretty good, but I've never lived there.
You just rent a Lambo or Bugatti for a day and post a bunch of them, you know, post it on Instagram a bunch and buy fake followers and you're good.
Dude, Miami is the capital of renting Lamborghinis and revving them next to homeless schizophrenics.
Hey man, if
I'll
it
jump
works,
in.
it works. It's the high value man method.
I'll kind of reference David Bond's strategy, which is he calls it bottle theorem, which is Bond's optimal dating location theorem. And it's basically nearer to the equator, the better, and that a city that's not traveled too much. Typically, the more tourism or traveling a city has, it can make the city worse for dating. Unless it's like one of those party islands where people are just partying nonstop in a small area and everyone like walks to where their hotels and stuff. Like I've had some students that they go and like they work on a Greek island for like summer and they fuck like 60 girls in the summer. But yeah, generally one of the things about Miami is like the girls that go there for like traveling and they're like in these big groups and then they just have all these plans and fucking appointments and reservations. And it's like hard to get them to step away from their friends. Even like this one girl, that girl I dated that I was on Alex's podcast with, like the big tit Lithuanian chick. I had to like plan a date for her and her friend because she didn't want to leave her friend because they're traveling together, right? So it's a bad look as a girl if you're like ditching your friends to go hang out with some guy on a trip that you guys have been planning for months or whatever. Another thing I'd say is a good ratio of women to men in your age range. A lot of people make the mistake of like, oh, it's just a good ratio of women to men. And they look at like Ukraine or like, you know, some place in Eastern Europe. But the thing is in Eastern Europe, the at past like 65 and up, it's like 4 or 5 to 1 girl to guy ratio. It's really weird like that, like Eastern Europe. So look for your actual age range of girls you want to date, unless you want to date some grandmas. Yeah, that's it.
Not the best city in the U.S. I've ever been to for a game, I thought, was Albuquerque, New Mexico.
That's a shock.
It's so random.
I know. I've never had
the Breaking Bad. The Breaking Bad place is because they're all high on meth and they're very easy to convince.
Dude, I was able to because I was driving Texas and I needed a place to crash. I was able to, as I was driving, set up a Tinder date, come to her house, bang her, crash there, and then drive to Texas the next day.
Wow.
Where else can you do that besides Albuquerque?
I guess
So I think Phoenix is really good.
Man.
Phoenix is really good.
Phoenix is good. I've been there.
You like hot blondes, especially that are kind of trashy, but they're really hot.
Yeah.
And it's not as exclusive as LA. So the high end venues in LA are hard to get into. In Phoenix, it's a free for all, and you can talk to the 9s and 10s, right? It's not like tables as in Vegas, for example. All the hottest girls are in tables. So it's pretty good. It's pretty easy. There's a lot of competition though. That's the negative. There's a lot of guys who approach, and a lot of like alpha males going for it.
Fuck those alpha males. I would say the same thing. Like I would say those second tier cities are probably the best because there's not a lot of rich guys there. Everyone is broke. So just by being on Seeking there, most guys can't even afford the $70 Seeking membership. So
to follow with that, the top tier cities will have more girls that are on the site though. Like second tier cities are not going to have as many girls on the site. So like once you exhaust a pool of like, you know, like fucking the 100 girls out of the 3,000 or whatever that are on Seeking that aren't like complete whores, like you don't really have much to go off of after that. Then you just have to like refresh the site for new girls, and it's just it doesn't work that well, I feel like.
I'm trying to think what second tier city have I ever done Seeking from? Actually, I've only ever done it from Texas, LA, and Miami.
Texas isn't a city. Which city in Texas?
Austin.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Represent.
Do you guys want to get into the more international stuff? Because I could speak a lot on that.
Yeah.
Let me say one more thing about US. Manhattan is actually really good for game. It's mostly women, and they're like really successful, ambitious women. And women only like guys typically that are more successful than them. And 10 to 12% of the guys on Manhattan are gay, which means they're not only not pursuing your women, they're taking another guy with them. So it's pretty good.
Well, another gay guy, not a straight guy, but yeah.
Dude, maybe they're taking the bi guys.
Dude, sometimes they'll flip a hetero. That's what they call it.
That just means you weren't hetero to begin with. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Right, let's get into
international
different countries. I'm trying to think. I love Medellin, Colombia. I really thought Warsaw was good. Budapest was pretty good, although I didn't like the night game in Budapest. It was too competitive. But the day game there was really good, and online was good. Prague is pretty good. Finland was quite good from the places I've been to.
Were you dating local girls or tourists?
Mostly locals.
There? Okay,
for all like locals.
Yeah, for me, when I was in Asia, the biggest thing, the biggest advantage that you have, a lot of people focus on locals and stuff. If you're just like some, sexpat guy, sure. But you're at a giant advantage when it comes to girls who are tourists there, similar to how it is like in Las Vegas, except it's like that on steroids, because a lot of girls, especially if they go to like a party island, like PP Island in Thailand, or they go to the Full Moon Festival in Copenhagen, or any of like the party areas in any of those places, bro, they are looking to get dicked down. Okay. And here's another thing too. Maybe it's not racist if I say it because I'm half Asian, but girls in general, European backpacker girls or American Canadian, they just don't like Asian guys. They don't like the locals. Right. So automatically they're going to be looking for other tourists. So at that point, it's literally just from a competition standpoint, it's just you versus other tourist guys. And most male backpackers are guys in their early 20s with very little life experience and therefore very little game. And so it's literally like shooting fish in a barrel. Like if you could stay at these sort of like party hostels, that's what I did back when I was a bit more savage. And bro, it's just literally like, okay, so the best thing to do is to have your own private room, but you can
always fuck in the
like
hostel
the dorms
kitchen
all the times. Yeah, dude, it's literally it's like too easy, honestly. And yeah, good times, man. I don't know if I'm gonna do that again when I go back because it's kind of ratchet and I'm kind of over it. But yeah, that's the biggest advantage that guys don't consider when they go vacation in those types of places. It's not necessarily the locals; it's the other tourists.
Yeah, I've gamed in Montreal. Montreal definitely has more attractive women than Toronto on average, but the city is so spread out, it's kind of annoying. The thing I like about Toronto is it's like the best walking city. You can just walk around everywhere you want to go. Meet a lot more girls that way.
So what would you recommend?
That's another thing I'd say for everyone listening. Driving cities are typically more annoying cities to meet girls in because you have to deal with the distances, and then to meet up for a date, she has to drive and do 45 minutes of traffic. That's why LA and Dallas are kind of shitty. It's like you have to invest so much of your life just to meet someone, as opposed to like walking cities, especially if they have really good public transport like subways. I used to like meet up, dude. I had like three dates in a day in Toronto, and it was simply because the subway system there is so good, and girls have the monthly pass, and it costs them $0 to come meet me. They just like hop on the subway, meet me at the station that they already know where it is, and just hop out, and then we go on a date. Versus like LA, you have to like drive around, and there's a lot of logistical stuff that influences the dating culture. Like we've already talked about on Japan, having how the subway system shuts down at midnight, and it's like taxis are super expensive, versus a place like Thailand where the taxis are, $1 to come see you, right? So even if you pay for the girl's taxi, she doesn't feel bad because it's cheap, right? Versus like $150, then it's like this expectation put on the girl for her taxi. It's like, so.
And unless you're staying in Thailand, unless you're staying in like a huge city like Bangkok, then it's a lot of it's very walkable, especially if you're like
that comment that was just up there. Indonesia, Jakarta, Indonesia is probably, if I think as a white person, as a white man, that is probably the easiest place to get laid in the world, and it only all from online. Yeah.
Well, you would think that they're like, because they're so religious and Muslim there'd be a lot of abstinence and stuff. I don't know. I've never been to Indonesia.
Have you never heard of a religious hypocrite who says one thing and does another?
We debate them the other week.
Maybe Indonesia is a little bit different.
Yeah, Muslim, they take it seriously.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like
I think pretty much everyone
they get stoned to death on the street.
Although my last girlfriend was Muslim, and she broke a lot of the rules of the religion.
Well, maybe it's different if she's living in America, right? But like if she's in Indonesia now, from my understanding, Indonesia is a very peaceful country, so maybe the way they practice Islam is a little bit less fundamentalist. But I don't know.
Is there like a documentary on the war there where they just like had some genocide or something?
Or
Indonesia.
Oh,
I don't know.
So Kevin,
a lot of the southeastern countries are very, unstable politically.
What would you say is the best Asian country for game?
Well, apparently, from what I've heard, I haven't been there. It's the Philippines, because the Philippines, if you're in Thailand,
very attractive.
Yeah, but then also they speak English too. I think that's the official language or the unofficial official language in the Philippines, because they speak like a different local language in all the different places.
Tagalog.
So Tagalog is the main language in Manila. But then in a place like Cebu, it's something called like Visaya or something like that. But if somebody from Cebu is trying to communicate with somebody from like Manila, they just speak English to each other, right? So there's I think there's less of a language barrier because of that. I haven't been there myself, so I don't know. But let me just say this: my God, I can't believe I'm bringing him up here. Okay, so Coach Whitepill, who doesn't get tons of matches on Tinder. He said that when he went to the Philippines, he was getting like hundreds of matches, and the girls would just
anyone
like
with
come
a decent
over his
profile, 200 matches a day
in the Philippines.
American
in Philippines, yeah.
So you've been there, Austen?
I haven't been there, but I put my Tinder there using the passport thing.
Yeah, and it was just like thousands of matches.
Yeah,
but I think
fuck. Now I got to delete all these.
I know Indonesia and like Philippines is easier than Colombia, but Colombia is like sufficiently easy for me to be overwhelmed with options.
And the quality is so much higher in Colombia. Colombia, I'd say 10 to 15% of girls are really hot. And then Philippines, I'd say 3%. I literally did like 100. I had 100 Philippines girls load, and about two or three were bangable. And then in Colombia, it's like 10 to 15 out of 100 are bangable.
I think Latinos have more diversity in appearance too, generally, than most Asian countries, right? So there's more.
They're local and Spanish, but actually, isn't that the Philippines too? Fuck.
Yeah,
exactly. They're the one.
Mixed,
they're part Spanish. Yeah, like
no, they're more like culturally mixed. I don't think ethnically they're that mixed, like Latinos are in South America, but it's more like culturally. So you'll have somebody who's like completely Asian, and his name will be like Juan Rodriguez. Like what? So you guys would say that
Colombia is the best in Latin America, even after you ruined it, Austin?
Well, who knows? Who knows now that it's ruined? You know, what's his name? Pablo Escobar shooting down airplanes. He didn't ruin it, but you know, me promoting an immersion program there with a YouTube documentary. That's really what ruined the whole country. Rest in peace, Colombia.
Would you say it's better than Brazil?
What year was that?
I've never been to Brazil, so I couldn't compare. Okay. But I'd say I think I really love Brazilian women. I think they are like I don't know if there's anything better than Brazilian women in terms of like they're just sensuality, like they're just I don't know how something about how I feel with them is amazing. But
they're statistically more promiscuous.
When you were in Colombia?
2017 to 2019. No, 2017 to 2020. Yeah.
It took you 3 years to ruin Colombia?
Dude, I was trying my best, bro.
I was there 2017 or 2018. It was still pretty dope. But I think it's still pretty dope.
And you can apply the same thing to Colombia, right? What's the city with the most amount of tourism? Medellin. So all you have to do is go to a city that's not as touristy as Medellin. It'll probably be better, right? I guess the way the downsides would be it'd probably be more dangerous to be in another city.
Also, Medellin has the hottest girls.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're right. Yeah.
I have a client who's pulling at least once to twice a week in Medellin. Like he seems to be having a good time, but he does get a shit ton of flakes.
Once or twice a week. I was doing once or twice a day.
Well, he's not a coach, all right?
I barely even left my apartment.
He got his first lays like 6 months ago.
For the listeners, learn game in a Western country, because once you learn game in a Western country, you can use it everywhere. And then when you go to a place like Colombia or the Philippines, you're like, this is so easy. Like you literally have an experience of like almost godlike powers. And you have like this, dude, I don't know if you guys have ever had this experience, but I remember when I was in Thailand, I basically didn't get rejected for 2 weeks straight. And then I went to a music festival and I was just talking to this girl and she like would turn around and like not look at me. And I went back to my buddy and I was like, dude, I think this girl may be autistic. Like she's not able to like look me in the eye and she's like turning around and stuff. Like what kind of social skills are this? He's like, Austin, did you just forget that rejection exists? I was like, oh my God, you're actually right. Like it just rejection like went away. It was so weird.
And I think another thing too, just from a mindset standpoint, like you don't want to escape your country to just go get girls in another country. I mean, honestly, that's like pussy worshiping beta shit. And you're going to be reeking of desperation when you're in another country if that's what you're there for, right? So it's just like, it's just not, that's why I'm so against guys just traveling just for pussy and that's it. Look, if that's what you want to do, fine. But like Austin said, make sure that you have some success back home. Or else what ends up happening, actually, of all people, Coach Greg Adams had a great video on this about a year ago. I remember I reacted to it. He basically said, if you're a loser back home with girls, all that's going to happen is the same things going to happen in these other places. It's just easier to pay for it. And so that's what ends up happening is you just pay for a bunch of prostitutes or whatever instead of actually genuinely meeting girls there.
And that kind of cuts away at your self-esteem over time.
Yeah. You just feel like a piece of shit or just like a loser. It just doesn't. Yeah,
dude. Honestly,
it causes more problems than it solves.
Selling guys on a dating program after they've been paying for sex is actually quite easy because all you have to do is calculate how much they would be spending for like the next 10 years of doing it. And when you do that, they're like, dude, I'm actually saving a lot of money if I take your program and execute. I'm like, yes, you would be. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. Pretty easy sale.
On a slightly different note, I just finished doing a Tinder experiment where I used the Turd Flinging Monkeys TFM sex doll to create a Tinder profile, and she got over 1,000 matches in 24 hours.
A sex doll?
A sex doll.
I think it's because guys just find that hilarious. They're just like,
nah, dude. Some of the guys are legit like hitting her up and being like, "Hey, you're cute, but you look a little. Something feels a little."
Can you show it? Like, is it hyper realistic?
I can pull it up.
Just like if it's a blow up doll, that makes no sense. I'm curious.
The black pillars are gonna have a field day with that. They're like, the dating market is just so cruel now that a sex doll is gonna get more matches than you. It's over.
Yo, I want to address this. So everyone does better in Thailand. Indian guys, black guys, white guys, Asian guys, everyone does better in Thailand. It's just a better dating culture for a lot of the reasons we talked about. Oh my God.
lady guys do better too.
So,
Oh, if he didn't tell me that, wait, so this is, I never saw the turd flinging monkey thing. So this is a sex doll.
that he has,
Yeah, that's pretty convincing.
Yeah. I mean, well, at least the close-ups are.
I mean, it looks something.
It kind of looks like a girl with a filter on, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It looks like a girl with a filter on.
I mean,
So if he didn't tell me initially, I would be like, oh, this girl is like uses way too many filters, but I would think it's not.
Dude, so my buddy David Bond got a sex doll company to send him a sex doll if he would just reviewed it on his channel. And he said it was somewhere in between masturbation and sex. He's like, it's this weird middle ground. And then he said it just got really weird, and his mom kept complaining about it at his house. So we just took it out into the middle of a field, and we just shot it with everything, dude. Fucking AR-15s and fucking shotguns. We put a watermelon on it, like a sack of flour, dude.
What the
Wait, his
hell?
mom kept complaining. What was the mom saying? Like, hey, stop fucking the doll in the house.
Like, no, she's just like, it's weird. Why is it in your room? So
yeah, I guess.
Bro, that's
How do
fucking
you
hilarious.
explain that to your mom? Mom.
Yeah.
This
She's
is
a person too.
Oh, dude, during that time with the sex doll, I was next to David with the sex doll. We sat her on the couch, and I did like a FaceTime with my Colombian girlfriend. I was like, "Hey, baby, what's up?" And there was like a girl in the background. I was like, "Shh, sorry, I'm on the phone with my girlfriend." It's like, "Hey, what's up?" She's like, "Wait, who's that? Who's that?" She got like jealous about a sex doll, dude.
I mean, if the sex doll is good enough, bro, you know.
Eventually, it will get good enough, and that's when it gets kind of scary because you combine AI, sex doll, and then VR porn. It's like, dude, what do you do after that?
It'll be a real thing, you know. Funny enough,
such extreme measures just to avoid doing game.
Well, dude, you know what's funny? It's going to actually probably. I kid you not. I definitely totally believe this. I'm not being sarcastic. I think it's going to make the entitlement of modern women make them pull back a bit because, like, they. What is it? Because so many guys will be checking out of the dating market because they'll just be dating their sex robots.
You don't think?
Like, I think it'll go from sex dolls to sex robots with interactive AI. So it's like,
Kevin, do you know what the main counter argument to that is from girls?
I don't know what.
I'm going to get a male sex doll.
Okay, well, I guess everybody's just going to have their own sex dolls then.
But women need more of an emotional connection, right? I imagine women are going to like sex dolls less than men.
Yes.
Kevin will debate.
Dude, I am definitely. That's going to happen. Dude, I kid you not. We joke about this.
So black pillars, just wait 10, 20 years.
Dude, Alex and I will definitely be debating AI one day. I have no doubt in my mind. And then Austen now too, because Austin is now also a debate bro.
You know, Tinder's already working on a metaverse dating program.
Oh boy!
I don't think that shit is going to happen in our lifetime, honestly.
I think it definitely will. 20, 30 years at most.
AI is still so far from like being sentient. There's still.
It doesn't necessarily have to be sentient.
There's just so much.
3 years before the Human Genome Project sequenced the human genome, people were saying that it would be impossible to ever sequence the human genome because it's too complex. And now you can do it. They did it for $1 billion 3 years later, and then after that, and now you can do it for like $79 or something. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy with like CRISPR technology and all that shit. And like,
Alex,
it's definitely gonna happen, Alex, for sure.
You can literally inject something in your
winner effect. Don't you think it's easier to get some results abroad than go back to say, yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, you can do that.
No, because it's a whole different.
Now we got
thing.
a debate.
No, because the implication of this is that you will have success outside of the U.S. when you were failing in the U.S. That's not the case at all. If you had some amount of success in the U.S., then you'll do fine overseas. But if you have zero here, you're going to have zero over there. So, for example, if you have vicious approach anxiety to the point where you can't approach any women at all, that's not magically going to go away when you go overseas, you know? So,
but you don't think you could line up a bunch of online dates?
Yeah, I think you just
there, and that would help you get over approach anxiety.
Okay, so if you get zero online matches here, I wouldn't say you're going to get zero over there, but you're not going to get much. Well, you'll get more. You'll get more for sure.
10x.
You just need a decent Tinder profile.
Okay, well, 10x 0 is still 0. So,
well, yeah,
or let's say 10x 1. Sure. If you get like one a week here, all right, 10x that is 10 per week.
Your profile should be like at least a 5 out of 10. like objectively.
Yeah.
If it's like a 2 out of 10, then yeah, you won't do much. But if your profile's a 5 out of 10 and you get like, I don't know, 2-3 matches a day in the US, you can get like 15-20 in Colombia or Philippines. And then that should be enough unless you're just super awkward on days.
Like I think going overseas, if it's just exclusively for girls, again, I didn't move there for that. I moved there for like the lifestyle and shit. But if you're going there specifically for girls and that's it, if you're the type of guy that gets laid like every once in a while, like maybe a few times a year, that's the perfect type of person to go over there and see a lot of success comparatively. But if you're seeing nothing here, like you're like legit an incel, when you go over there, yeah, you can have some experiences with women, but you're just going to be paying for it, and it's cheap to pay for it. So hey, go for it, man.
So any guy that
QB Willie,
any guy that brings this thing up with like Thailand or that kind of stuff just has no experience with transgender people. Like it's pretty obvious. It's the voice.
Yeah, it's obvious.
The fucking Adam's apple, the big hands, the general vibe.
They're always tall.
Like you can tell. At least I can tell within like 1 second.
They're always tall too. They're like taller than the average Thai man. It's weird. It's like every Thai man that's tall turns into a ladyboy. But yeah, they also have very one way to tell is they have really long necks. For some reason, if you ever notice with women, for the most part, like they just don't have long necks, even if they're tall. I don't know. That's probably bro science. But yeah, they're very aggressive too. Like I remember I was just walking down a street, coming back, eating curry with my friends at an Indian restaurant. And then I just happened to walk by one of those, like, I don't know what they're called, like sex bars or whatever. I think this one was like full of trannies. They just grabbed me. Like in the US, that I would grab you. No, I'm serious. They grabbed me and then they grabbed my junk with their freaking man hands, dude. And they're like, ha 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 ha. I was like,
so small.
I was just like crying as I walked away. Like,
you call yourself a man?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
They're like
and then they were just making fun of how they weren't really grabbing much. And yeah.
Did I ever tell you guys the story of how my Persian friend fucked a tranny accidentally?
Accidentally.
Yeah, did you guys ever hear that story? We went to like this, I don't know, this like swinger sex club, whatever party that I got invited to, and we like got there, and there was this like I don't know, we were like drinking beers in the living room. There's this tranny like started talking to us, and so the tranny was like, "Oh, do you guys want the tour of the house?" And like, I knew what the tour of the house meant. Like it means like you want to go bang. So I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm good. I've already seen this place." But my friend is like, "Yeah, I'll take a tour of the house." But I didn't have like any socially polite way of telling him it was a tranny. But I just figured he knew and he would just like figure it out. And I just figured like he's kind of like a weirdo who likes to tour houses. So they go up there and then they're gone for like an hour and I forget about him because I want to bang some dude's wife. And then he comes down. This is back when I used to smoke cigarettes and he like asked me for a cigarette. And then he's like, "Yo, man," he's like, "So good. You missed the tour of the house. Did you know tour meant fucking?" I was like, "Yeah, I knew it meant fucking. But who did you fuck?" He's like, "That hot chick that was downstairs with us." I was like, "You mean that dude?" He's like, "What are you talking about, bro? It wasn't." And then he's like, "Oh shit, fuck." And then I watched like a grown man have a full on.
That explains the penis.
Well, he was like, that explains why she only wanted to have anal.
Oh,
Oh my god. If you didn't tell
I was gonna
him,
say, like,
he never would
how
have
could you
known.
not
It would have
tell?
been like
Never known.
Schrodinger's cat, right? He wouldn't have had that. Wouldn't have thought he was part gay.
Alex, why did you ruin that for him? He could have just gone
It's a
home
great
thinking that he
experience.
fucked a hot girl.
Because I was so legitimately confused. I didn't do it on purpose. It was like him. He was legitimately like, "Yeah, man. Why didn't you come upstairs, man? Tour of the house meant fuck." And I was like, "Fuck with who? Like, who are you talking about?" He's like, "That hot chick." I mean, not the tranny. Like, who's the chick? I was trying to figure it out. And then he's like, "No,
I did not bring that up. I did not bring that up.
Austin.
That was not me.
No, Austin and Kevin have a piece now, so I brokered a piece.
You mean me and John Anthony? Yeah,
Oh,
we have a ceasefire.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
because it's like, look, honestly, I've always just like kind of counterpunched, and if he's just like, yeah, I'm not going to aggress on you anymore, non-aggression principle, that's important to me. I'm like, all right, fine, that's cool. But that's why I also said that too. I don't want to just start a war again that I don't even fucking care about. So Austin, that was you, bro.
You're not wrong.
Who else?
Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, how can you not tell? I mean, maybe with me it's a bit different because, like, me being a personal trainer, like, I know that there's certain things that indicate whether someone's a man or a woman structurally, just looking at them. So it
You
seems
have to
kind
be
of
a personal
obvious.
trainer
But,
to realize that.
well, yeah, I'm just saying, even if it's like close, even if it's like convincing looking, you could just still like tell.
It's
Or,
a
like, if
huge
the shoulders are
compliment
just
to
too
her.
broad.
Huge
Or-
compliment.
Hmm?
It's a huge compliment to her.
To me,
Yes,
it was
yeah.
super obvious. I could tell right away. I think my friend is just
Yeah,
like,
so maybe your friend just discovered something new about himself then. Your Persian friend.
Yo, let's go back to traveling stuff. So I want to talk about like learning languages because I want to get your guys' opinion on this. If I go somewhere, I want to pick up some words of the language. I want to at least know a couple of phrases so I can connect with the local people, so they can at least get the sense that I respect their local culture and the language and whatnot enough to like start the interaction or a sentence with their language. But a lot of people I know, they'll go to a place for like a year and not learn like a single phrase. And you're just like, what is wrong with you? I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on that.
yeah, I think it's good to learn a few phrases.
Yeah, I think out of respect for the culture, it's good, but I don't think it's necessary in terms of dating, because when you're such like a niche type person when you're in countries like that the girls who are into Westerners will already know English, and those Asian countries tend to be quite maybe Thailand's a bit different, but I'm thinking like Vietnam or Japan. They tend to only want to date within their culture, within their race. It's just how Asia is. So the vast majority of girls will not even consider you. And so it's not like you're necessarily going to change those girls' minds just because you can speak their language. I think it'll help with girls who are on the fence, but girls who are already like convinced that they just, the Western guy's my type, it doesn't really matter. But out of respect for the culture, yeah, you should learn some phrases in the language.
Also, the local girls always get a kick out of it when you're like, as a white guy, you can say like, whenever I say like, "Hola, chica bonita," like the Colombian girls like, any language, like in Korean, I try to say hello, thank you, and you're hot, or I have a big dick in like any language, any country I travel to. So I learned like a little Korean when I was living in Koreatown. It's like "안녕하세요" is how you say hello. And I remember whenever I would say that to a girl, I would just like exaggerate it too to make it sound extra fobby. I'd be like, "안녕하세요," and the girls would be like,
that just sounds racist.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "감사합니다." Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
for
one
the
thing
Korean girls that have like a fetish of, I don't know, a white guy being racist toward them.
it's not
Like,
racist.
that's their like subs fantasy.
Jesus,
To back up what Kevin said about Thailand.
So nowadays, just learning someone's language and exaggerating it is racist.
Yeah, everything's racist these days. So to back up what Kevin said about Asia, in Thailand, usually the hottest Thai girls are usually with Thai guys. There are like almost every country or city in the world that's outside of like the Western world or whatever, they'll have this subsection of girls that only date Westerners, or a subsection of girls that only date like white guys or whatever. But it's usually pretty like tight knit group, and like you'll find like when you travel with your buddies, you all end up becoming like what is it called? Eskimo brothers? Yeah. Like when you fuck the same girl. And you're like, oh, you fucked her, I fucked her. Fuck, dude, these girls are just like on Tinder, like just trying to fuck any white guy or just trying to fuck any foreigner, It's kind of weird.
Dude, in this one city, Da Nang, which is my favorite city, apparently there's a Facebook group of the local girls there where, because they're all very cautious of like Western fuckboys, I guess. So they have a Facebook group where if they match with some guy that's a Westerner, they'll put him up there and see if other girls have dated that guy. Yeah. So
there's
that's definitely a very real thing. It's like a community.
Local Facebook groups. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very
You guys want to hear a
odd and
pretty
kind of
funny
hilarious.
story, actually, that happened to me a few days ago. This chick I hooked up with was telling me that the guy that she used to date, he had this fetish where basically he would invite black guys over to fuck her, come inside of her, right? The cum would be dripping out of her pussy. He would be like in the room next door, like listening, and then he would get really turned on. And after like the black guy would leave, he would go in there and like start fucking her with the guy's cum still dripping out of her.
What?
hot. That's pretty hot. I like it.
Dude, so in
I hope
Sex
you're
at
using
Dawn,
protection with this girl, Alex.
Yeah, of course.
in Sex at Dawn,
Yeah.
they talk about these tribes that
When I heard that
basically
story, I
tribes
was like,
think that they
I
can
was like,
combine the qualities of different men in one woman. So they'll be like, oh, you know what? I want my son to be tall, and then this guy's intelligent, so he can fuck me, and then this guy is like, strong, he's a good hunter, athletic, or whatever. So they all fuck her so that she can combine the qualities of those men in her child. That's what they think.
Does that actually work that way, though?
No.
I know.
That's bro
Wait a
science.
second.
Tribe science.
Dude, I thought
Oh, yeah, do you have any Kazakhstan game advice, Alex?
I've never been to Kazakhstan. I have hooked up with girls from Kazakhstan. They're actually pretty cute because they're like Asian-looking girls who speak Russian, and I speak Russian, so it's really easy for me.
Dude, in
one girl-
Dagestan, don't fuck with any of the girls that say they have boyfriends. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. That's where fucking that fighter's from, right? The number one fighter. What's his name? Khabib, yeah.
And a bunch of other people too. Islam Malakashev and a bunch of other random dudes are from there. Yeah, don't fuck with people from Dagestan, bro.
Dude,
I have a feeling they're all super religious anyway, so it's probably not. Yeah, but yeah.
So there's a Facebook group called Medellin Expats. If you search my name in there, you'll find so much shit talking about me. Oh man, I have so many screenshots from that group that is. When I put out my Colombia video on like what happened in Colombia, I'm gonna put all those screenshots. Fucking hilarious.
When's the last time you were there? Like when when this incident supposedly happened? Because you were there for a while ago, right?
Yeah, I lived there for a year after the incident. I left in October.
Oh, this past October?
No, 2020.
Who's Lisa Sparks?
Okay. What
like a
country
porn
were you
star?
in when you hooked up with Lisa? Who the fuck is Lisa Sparks?
I've heard that name before. It's someone famous. I just don't know who it is.
Yeah. Sounds like a
Best
porn
ass eating
star or
country
something.
is Hungary. If you're hungry for eating some ass.
Dude, when I was in Colombia, this is a funny story. I probably told this several times. Whenever I travel to, like, I don't know, I've been on antibiotics for a few years, so I have all kinds of stomach problems. Whenever I travel to a new country, I always get really bad, like, stomach issues, just like adjusting to the local food or whatever. So when basically it was my first week in Colombia, and I was like just having really bad diarrhea every few hours. And this chick I hooked up with decided to fucking lick my butthole without checking with me. And it was the grossest, funniest, most disgusting, embarrassing moment ever. Because she was at first, she was like she was so enthusiastic about it, and then after like 10 seconds, I just hear her go,
Ew.
Dude, this is like the fourth time I've heard this story, but it's literally funny every time.
I've told this story so many times.
Yo, this is an interesting question, but I think one thing that's interesting is we all know that different countries are better for dating or have more options or whatever, but we all choose to live in the US. So why is that?
Well, I'm choosing to leave soon because I just think traveling is amazing. I just love traveling. Yeah. Like I that's what I was saying before though. It's like you shouldn't travel for pussy. That's literally you being a beta that's putting the pussy on a pedestal. Right? That's just stupid.
But if the quality of life is higher overall,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just that. It's like not even in a specific place. I just think your worldview and just the way you view the world and your life perspective just expands so much when you're in different cultures, And I think maybe with me it's more natural because I've always been like, I lived a quarter of my life, my childhood in Japan. So I'm used to traveling back and forth. But yeah, I highly suggest it. I think it's very good for self-development, especially if you have the balls to go solo travel. You learn so much. You just live a great life. And there's a lot of fears you have to overcome and shit, but it's just like, yeah, you come back to the U.S. like a fucking Chad with a bunch of cool stories and pictures and experiences. I couldn't recommend it enough.
Yeah, I'll share my reasons. There's a few things on the list. I'll go in order from like least important to most important. One of them is my family. All my family's here. I like being close to like my friends and family. That's one. Number two, probably the biggest reason is the healthcare system because I have a lot of health issues. So for me, like moving long term to a foreign country would be not sustainable. Like I would be like fucking dead in like 3 months. Not really, but I'll be like all kinds of fucked up. That's a big one. Number three for podcast opportunities and all that stuff. Like usually most people you're going to collab with are in the U.S. time zone. Also doing like in-person studio stuff. Like, you know, the whole with the valuetainment, for example, that would have never happened if I lived in a different country because you have to be there in person. So for work reasons, and I'm at a point where I can get enough pussy, like sufficient amounts of pussy living in the US, even in like a city like Miami. So it's not like a limiting factor for me. It's just mildly annoying. But I would say the last reason is that I feel like I'm more culturally in common with American girls because that's where I spend most of my life. So I can like fuck foreign girls and even hang out with them. But after weeks or maybe a month, I feel like I don't know. I'm not as close to her as I can be with an American girl, or at least a girl who's lived in America all her life. Like any girl who I'm going to date English has to be a native language for her because I'm just not that sufficient in other languages. And just culturally wise, I probably am more in common with American culture. So probably all those reasons.
Yeah, those are good. I think another one for you, Alex, is it helps you to teach your audience is mostly from the US. And if you're just gaming in like Kazakhstan or something, it's not that relevant to American guys, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So I'd say that's all true for me as well, but I will probably spend 1 year to 2 years in Europe in the next couple of years because I've always really liked European women and the culture. And I think getting some variety, not being in the US your whole life is probably a good idea for most people. And I've traveled to other countries, but not for more than like a couple weeks.
A.G Hayden European tour.
Dude, same.
I actually really like everything about Miami besides the girls, honestly. I think Miami's a really cool city, minus the dating marketplace here.
The weather.
I love the weather personally.
Really?
Yeah. This is my ideal weather.
Huh. Yeah, I've never been to Miami, so I still need to come visit you, Alex.
I didn't wear sunscreen for 3 hours, and I still haven't recovered in Miami.
Dude, Alex, if you can convince Saucecast or whatever, assuming that you and Rolo have that debate, if you're able to have a partner in that debate, bring me, and I will fly over there for sure.
Yeah, dude, like 0.001% chance. First of all, big factor.
It's 0.001% chance he even agrees to debate you, and then with me, it's like literally zero.
Dude, it was funny. After that, like I was talking to Adam after like the podcast. He's actually a really cool guy. Like I thought he was like a really cool, genuine person. But cool. Yeah, he was like, yeah, man. He's like, I'd be happy to set it up. I'm like, Adam, you don't understand. Rolo is not going to do it. He's like, no, man. But like, you know, I've set up debates for him in the past. You know, I think I could get him to do it. I'm like, zero chance, Adam. But if you can make it happen, I'll come down here any day of the week and I'll fucking do it. But he's not going to do it. He's like, all right, we'll see. And yeah, I'm gonna text
Adam. If I'm already in Asia by then, I will literally book a flight to come back to Miami for that.
I'm gonna text Adam a week.
That's how important it is to expose.
I'm gonna be like, "Hey man, what did Rolo say?" And he's gonna respond, "Yeah, man, I haven't heard from him." I'm gonna be like, "Told you."
Yeah. Oh my god, dude! It says all you need. It says all you need to know when somebody's afraid to debate people. Like it's just like, ugh. And Alex, I know you have different. Sort of, I think you guys would have a pretty productive debate. I think it would actually not be,
I think
Rolo getting destroyed. It's not necessarily anything from your end. It's just that for me, I can attack his first principles that of his entire ideology and make it come crashing down. That's why, and he knows that, which is why he's so deathly afraid of me. Because it's like I'll literally expose to him that everything in his book is bunk because the foundation upon which he builds it. I can just debunk all of that. But yeah, so I don't know.
There was a chick, the chick that was sitting next to me, not the porn star, the other girl. We were like, I met her before the podcast started, and like I was telling her about like she was asking me what I do. I'm like a dating coach, and she's like, oh. And I saw like the look of kind of like repulsion in her face. I'm like, don't worry, I'm not like Rolo. She's like, really? I fucking hate that guy. And she went off on like a massive tangent. So we like bonded after, like as soon as I said that, she went from like mildly disliking me to like being super on my team.
You know what says a lot about Rolo to me? Every time he does a debate or interview with a woman, she afterwards says like, I fucking hated that guy. Like he made me super uncomfortable. Did not like being around him. I felt like that was completely unproductive. That's what I've heard like Michaela Peterson say, other people say. I think that says a lot about his values.
Let's get back on track. No one cares about this.
Okay, describe Miami dating marketplace, Alex. It's difficult. It's very competitive. A Sykes doll got 1,000 matches. A fat chick got 600 matches. Meanwhile, a male model gets 120 matches. So it's very, very competitive on dating apps. You really need some kind. Either you need to be really good at cold approach, or you need to like be able to do cold approach sufficiently, or you need some kind of like an in. Either be like in with the BDSM community or some kind of like community where you can like source girls. Could be like fucking yoga or something like that. But any community that you have an in on. Now, I will say this. I'm trying to think of how we can word this without doxing my girlfriend or like revealing our sex life. I'm just going to speak very vaguely. What I've noticed is that if you create a Tinder profile with a girl, a lot of hot girls will match you for that girl. So that's another thing you can do. Take it as you will.
Another thing about Miami is it's a very plastic city. People are kind of fake, and there's a lot of like plastic surgery, fake lips, like the most weird looking SpongeBob SquarePants looking asses you've ever seen. Just
yeah, but I'm into all that shit, honestly.
You like the fake ass, fake lip, fake titty.
Not the fake lip.
I think that shit's gross, to be honest.
The fake ass and the fake tits, yeah.
You know, that's just like one step removed from the sex dolls.
They want to become them.
My general policy is if she was born a female and of human descent, I'll hit it. If she's hot.
Human descent.
I think you want to be a little bit more specific than that, Alex. I mean, what if she's one of those girls like that you did the Tinder experiment with, where she was like a 300-pound land whale?
If she's hot.
Okay, fair.
Other than leaving some of my friends, I'd like to hang out with Alex more. I'd like to hang out with some of my other Miami friends. Other than leaving my friends down there, every day I wake up grateful that I'm not in Miami. It's like where I live now, just so much more space, more greenery, more places to explore. People more down to earth, less fake looking. I'd say about 50% more attractive girls, 75% less high value kind of like baller type dudes. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, gives you an advantage. I got sunsets. It's 5 degrees cooler where I am. The traffic is much better. More professional sports teams, more stuff to do. Like in Miami, since it's so expensive near that main hub, like where Alex lives, there's literally nothing to do except for if you want to drink tequila or like walk in the city or something. Whereas where I am, I have like parks and disc golf and like go-karting and like climbing walls and like just so much stuff to like do that's fun, like in 10-mile radius of where I am. Whereas Miami, you have to drive like 30 minutes outside of Miami to do anything that's like fun. That's just my biased
shit
opinion
about Florida. So.
I guess the difference.
It's also Miami's so scammy. It is the literal capital of healthcare scam in the U.S., maybe the world. And like Alex, you know when you go out to eat there and they secretly like put the tip already in the bill, but then they ask you for a tip. You're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like that just doesn't exist anywhere outside of Miami.
Oh wait, it doesn't? I thought that it just existed anywhere nowadays.
No.
Oh, okay.
At least not where I am.
Never heard of that. That's such a piece of shit.
I've gotten so used to that. I just thought that was the standard nowadays. That's interesting.
Do you want to add a tip on top of the forced gratuity already?
And it's always, yeah, dude. I remember I went out to eat to a restaurant. I was like, me, my girlfriend, and my friend, and like the tip just by itself was like $80. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah,
the food, dude, just to get a decent meal in Miami, it's gonna cost you like $80 per person. Like unless you want to just eat at Chipotle.
On that, there's actually really good restaurants that are not that expensive. You just have to know where they are. Like you need a local to show you where they are.
What's an example of this?
Graziano's is amazing. It's not that expensive.
The Italian place?
No, it's like Argentinian. It's all grass-fed beef. Grilling in front of you. Quinto La Juela is also really good. There's actually a lot of really good restaurants if you just know where to go.
All right, guys. Yes, I live in the Avatar exhibit in Animal Kingdom in Disney World. Yeah.
But what I will say is I have one of my buddies, one of my really close friends, actually the guy that banged the tranny. He just moved to Tampa, and he's fucking loving it over there. He's raving about it. And when my roommate Indian P went over there, he liked it too. So seems to be 3 for 3.
Tampa seems really nice. I've never been, but
I always thought of
Miami seems nice too.
To be honest, the downside of Tampa is unless you live in like downtown or Soho, you have to drive a lot. This is one of the reasons I'm like AG. I want to move to Europe because I just want to live in a nice walking city with a very international crowd that's not very woke. And like a lot of Europe is not as woke as America is, and they're just like normal people, and they socialize more. The thing when you live in a walking city, you socialize with people a lot more than in a non-walking city.
Yeah. And you're already instantly like you stand out, like similar to how someone who's like, I don't know, let's say German or Italian, like actually from there, will automatically stand out just by being in public and walking around. That they're automatically interesting. You have that same effect when you go abroad too.
I think more for you in Europe too, Kevin, because you got that Hapa look, right?
Yeah, half Japanese. I'll just go around just say like, oh, I'm from Japan, and just adopt a Japanese accent. Oh, I'm from Japan.
I live in Florida has no state income tax. I barely pay anything federal income taxes. If you have your own business and you have a good accountant, you can get away with paying like close to nothing for federal income taxes. Like I pay like 2%.
Well, also, here's another thing too. I think we talked about another podcast before, but what is it? If you live abroad, if you live outside the U.S. at least 330 days out of the year, you don't get taxed for anything under. I think it raises every year. I think it's up to like $110,000 now, and you only get taxed above that. And then on top of that, you're still responsible for your state taxes. So I'm a resident of Texas now, so Texas has 0 state income tax. So that's another big benefit of moving abroad is if you're abroad for the vast majority of the year, you pay way less taxes. So
another thing you can do in America, if you own a business, is you can have your office and like rent your office space in your house out to yourself as a business, basically. I forget what the name of that is.
Dude, you want to bet? I'll pull up my well, I don't know if I want to do this publicly, but I'll
don't do that. What are you trying to prove here, bro?
A copy of my taxes. Like I'm telling you, like you can
don't do that. Unless you know that person personally. Yeah, that's just like you have no obligation to do it. Only bad things can come out of sharing tax loopholes.
Dude, I don't know why people like always accuse me of lying about the dumbest shit. Like, why would I lie about that? Like, how is that even like a flex? Like that I'm cheap and don't pay like that much in taxes. Like, if I want to flex, I would flex about like cool.
It has nothing to do with being cheap, man. Like it's your responsibility. It is the most income tax is the most un-American thing. It's income tax in general.
Oh right? God!
It is your moral obligation to minimize them. Income tax didn't exist until like the 1920s. So, like, even if a billionaire is getting taxed 50%, that's absurd. I don't care. I don't care if he's a billionaire or a trillionaire. You should not be getting half your income fucking taken from the government. You should find every means possible to reduce your taxes.
A huge one. The rule I was going to mention is the Augusta rule. You rent your house to your business for up to 14 days, and you have a day rate, let's say $1,000 times 14, and they just get a CPA that knows what that rule is and tell them what you plan to do with the office space. It's pretty good.
I don't like this business stuff. It's boring to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just like, numbers.
Yeah.
I think Avery agrees. He's just sitting there just being silent, being like,
Avery, how are you? You haven't talked at all this entire podcast. Do you want to say something?
Something?
Well, I think with Avery, you haven't really traveled too much outside.
I haven't traveled that much. I've always been in the U.S.
Yeah.
I'm going to do Europe. I've done Mexico, but I wouldn't really count that.
Well, why not? Just because you just went as a tourist or what?
Because I went when I was 18 and I didn't have game.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that
so
doesn't
I didn't
help.
get laid.
Yeah. This was pre dating.
I also, I mean, I kind of travel max in the U.S. to an extent because I really like Latinas, and there's a lot who are visiting or traveling here, and going for them is kind of like travel maxing.
Stay the fuck away from my.
Well, how about this? I think one thing that you could weigh in on, Avery, potentially even more than the rest of us, is because Los Angeles is such a transient city. Like you said before, there's so many different types. Did I say Vegas? What did I say? Los Angeles? Sorry. I said I meant Vegas. I'm sorry. It's such a transient city that there's all these different cultures that come through there. All these different, I mean, I lived there for a few months and I literally met like girls from like every country imaginable. So maybe you can weigh in on sort of what that's like, right? Just because you've dated internationally from that
The
standpoint,
advantage to
even though it
going to
was
somewhere like
happening
Vegas
in Vegas.
is you're going to meet women from everywhere and you kind of find out what you like and what you don't like, right? So I found that European women generally, their energy, their vibe, the way they carry themselves, the way they dress, they just tend to be more attractive. And the same is true for Latinas, and especially certain countries like Colombia, Argentina, Cuba, Brazil. It gets you an idea of what you like, which can be useful for the future to know where you want to live. So Vegas is a good place as like a pickup. What would you call it? Like rite of passage. You go there for like 3 months. You pick up a bunch of girls there. You don't want to live there. Like the people who live in Vegas mostly suck. It's just like Miami. They're very plastic. They're very fake. They're crazy. I've had friends have their lives ruined by girls who live here, like legitimately calling the cops on them for no reason, saying they abused them, even though they didn't, that kind of shit. Right. And they're very,
dude, I don't understand how you live there, man. So much
I'm not
respect
going to
for
live
you
here
for living
long,
there, but
right. It's a good place to live for a while, to do some boot camps and to meet a lot of girls, but it can help you. Like you can go out every night. You can do a shit ton of game, approach tons of women, get over that phase. It's the easiest city to get over the phase of like not getting results from game. Because there's not many cities where you can go out every single night and have a good club. Miami's close, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't know about Monday, Tuesday, though. I didn't really find any. Huh?
There's places to go. It's just
If you need a promoter basically to be connected with a promoter to go out to places that are rivaling Vegas. And even then, you're just doing table game. You're not really doing much of like the just cold approach thing.
Vegas venues are much larger, right? They're huge. Some of them are 5,000 capacity, which is pretty crazy.
I'd say Vegas, Toronto, New York. Those are places I've gone out every night of the week.
Yo,
LA.
guys, if we get to 300 live viewers, we're all going to tell our most embarrassing pickup story ever. and I have some really embarrassing ones, but we got to get to 300 live viewers. Anyone have
I'm not even a pickup artist, and I have like 5 that I can tell. So yeah.
Anyone have any experience in Anchorage?
I've got some.
I've been to Alaska.
I've heard
Alaska is a sausage fest.
Yeah.
It is the state. Also, when you think about it, which state in the U.S. would have the most amount of rape? It would be the state with the least amount of female options, right? So that's Alaska. So it's not good for game because women don't like the gold.
I just thought it wouldn't be good for game because there's like no people in general there. But I guess it makes sense that it's mostly dudes because
Anchorage is like
wilderness and
something,
shit.
right?
Yo, huge gem for this guy. Wear pants that have zippered pockets. That has saved me so many times in life from getting pickpocketed, from, when you work out in the gym and you're like doing upside down fucking, sit-ups or whatever, and your shit's falling out of your pants. Just get zippered pockets. And I don't have to worry about that as much. Also, don't go out alone.
Yeah, I had one friend. He was
also use common sense.
Huh?
Use like common sense. Like if something feels too good to be true, it probably is. And be careful with threesomes. Usually most scams happen when there's 2 girls. So if a threesome feels too easy, like you've never fucked any of the girls, and there's like 2 girls who just want to go home with you and they're throwing themselves at you, that's sus. Like in foreign countries, I'm always very careful with anything that's like more than 1 girl.
Yeah, have one girl that you get to know first and then have threesomes with her.
I've seen most crimes, scams, robberies start off as threesomes where it's like 2 girls that want to go home with a guy. 1 girl fucking, I don't know, is like sucking his dick. The other girl robs him. Then it's just all that shit happens because girls, like a girl's not going to want to rob you by herself because it's such a physical safety risk, right? Because you're a guy. So she's probably going to want to have like friends there.
So mine for this: Brazil, Colombia, Sweden, Russia, Korea.
Wow. That was very specific. Like you didn't have to think. You're like, I already have my top 5.
Already got it.
I don't know what it'd be for me.
Honestly, though, I think the U.S. does have some of the hottest women because we have like just over time imported some of the hottest women in the world to the U.S. Because
it has the most.
I think
it has the biggest curve, right? So it has the most ugliest women by far, but it also has a lot of the supermodels, the crazy genetic mixtures. It also has the hottest girls too. It has both.
Yeah.
Dude, if the U.S. just got all girls off of seed oils and processed sugar, the average attractiveness would go up so much.
Yeah, that's the thing that you notice when you go to foreign countries. You're like, wow, why are there all these attractive girls everywhere? It's because they're not fat. That's literally it. Like the amount that body fat makes you look unattractive is insane. And half of U.S. women are fat.
More than half. It's more than half.
Why is it
Okay, more than
unattractive
half,
to be
yeah,
fat?
70%.
My hypothesis of why it's unattractive to be fat is that you can't tell the girl's hip to waist ratio, so you can't tell her fertility. So your brain is just like, let's not take the chance with that. But I'm curious what your thoughts.
It's not just that, it's that, but then also it's the face too. It shows up on the face.
she will
So
fucking
you can't even see if she has an attractive face or not. Now, some girls and guys, it doesn't matter, you know, if you're a girl or a guy. Sometimes you're genetically blessed to the point where your body fat doesn't really get stored on your face, no matter how fat your body gets. So I'm sure like we've all met girls like that where it's just like she has an attractive face, but just such a fat body, and you're just like, man, if you could just lose some weight, you'd be so hot. Like that's why, because they just don't hold body fat in their face.
Dude, I remember when I was a sophomore in college or junior, maybe, like when I had like no game and low self-esteem before I knew about the pickup community, I was fucking this like really fat chick I met at a bar, and she was so fat that I could actually only fuck her in missionary. Like I never even realized it, but with fat chicks, you're limited.
Oh, you're saying that she couldn't be on top of you because she's too heavy? Is that what
No,
you're saying?
it wasn't like she would crush me. It was just like the physics of it didn't work out because her fupa would like limit my penis. You're like limited in what positions you can fuck her. Like we tried doggy style like 5 times. It fucking physically wouldn't work. My penis would not stay in. Like it's like scientifically impossible. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. That was
Okay, so there you go, Austin. That's
maybe
that's the
for
real
you, but I got a
biological
20.
reason.
I have a 22 incher, so yeah, literally, it's like he can't reproduce with her. So
Yeah. It's like literally, even if you wanted to, you can't. And also, I'm pretty sure your body fat as a woman, if it's higher, you decrease your odds of reproducing as well, like being fertile. So that might be another thing.
Like 250 pounds. I don't know. She was gross. I'm not proud of that. But
this is before you had.
Yeah, this was way before. But I could like now that I
fair.
fuck hot girls, like I could never in a million years go back. Even though I went through like a massive dry spell, I could not. There's just like even a chick who's like skinny but she doesn't have tits or ass like does nothing for me.
Yo, really quickly, we should start doing that more. Of like,
like
hey,
the
guys,
video, we're
like
gonna
the
start
video.
running ads. We're gonna start
Good idea,
pitching
right?
product.
I love these comments.
Start pitching
How
product.
confusing is it? Pants with zippered pockets. You could literally just take exactly what I said and type that into Amazon and then click buy.
I literally
But you
have
have to
them
ask
on right
zipper
now.
pockets. Well, but
Amazing.
Kevin, zipper pockets.
Wait, what?
But
What is
zipper
this sorcery? Can you only get that in Asia?
Yeah, Denver is also really shit. I've been.
We
there.
have 240 live viewers. We have 60 more to go.
All right.
When we tell our most embarrassing
Look,
pickup
I got
story.
some really fucking embarrassing ones. You guys thought I told you guys the embarrassing ones. I've been saving the embarrassing ones. I have way worse. I used to
already
fucking
told him
have
about it,
really low
Kenny.
self-esteem, and I would seek validation massively. So, and I used to drink a lot. That's no game, low self-esteem, massive amounts of alcohol, no sense of limits creates for some fucking embarrassing stories.
Dude, how pissed are you guys that we can't go back to Russia for a while? Maybe Alex, you can. Do you have a Russian passport?
No.
Fuck, dude.
And I would never risk it either. I will never go to
Dude,
Russia.
I was learning Russian and I wanted to go there and I wanted to just pick up Russian and just like live there for like a year or two.
I want to
but
fucking be
I
a
can't.
political prisoner.
Would you guys prefer Russia or Ukraine? Assuming
Russia,
nothing was
100%.
happening there. Why
Russia,
Russia
dude.
over Ukraine?
Their culture is so cool. Like, listen, go watch like the street interviews in Russia. The people are smart. They're funny. The girl, it's the third highest rate of female entrepreneurship, yet the women are super feminine still. It's like smart entrepreneurial women that are fucking feminine and hot as fuck. You just have to, the one downside is they don't have a downside. They don't have an ass. So you have to like get that. You have to find the like 1 out of 100 girls that has a nice booty there. And then
Or just
make it work.
convince them to start doing squats.
Just genetically, dude, they just don't have the booty. Like a girl from Nicaragua you're gonna have to like convince her to do squats. She's already gonna have a nice ass. If she does like walk or do squats and stuff, it's gonna be like an epic ass. But
Russian,
Eastern
Ukrainian
Europe, that's
girls
what
are a
he's
little
known
bit
for.
more prude. I think I would be way more likely. Like,
Yeah.
I think Poland is such a better alternative because Poland, you get the same hotness, the same feminineness, but they're not nearly as prude. So it's like, I don't know.
Polish girls have better bodies too, but I think Russian girls have the most beautiful faces in the world. It's kind of hard to argue.
I guess
That explains Alex's beautiful face.
my mom was like a legit model when she was younger.
Kevin Gay Wilder and Alex playing with ass exposed as being gay lovers live on stream.
Colombian girls are also great. They're just the
Colombian.
downside of Latin women is they're extremely emotional, and that those emotions go both ways. So they can be so sweet and feminine and just nurturing, and you will have never, if you haven't been to a Latin country, you will have almost never experienced something so pure and beautiful and feminine. And like when you experience those women, you're like, this is what reality should be. Like this is what like a species meeting another part of its species should feel like just a woman so in her feminine allows you to be in your masculine, and you come together and create this like ball of energy that you can just enjoy. But that energy goes the opposite way. So when they get pissed at you, you're literally in fear for your life. So yeah, like all the stereotypes of like Latin girls, like it's like, you know, Latin girls are great until they like stab you. It's like that's actually like pretty accurate.
They also tend to want children to really lock you down, which is something that unless you want that, that's a risk.
I think I will only ever date like Latin girls for the rest of my life, or at least they have to be partially Latin. I just think Latinas are so superior to every type of girl.
Isn't your girlfriend not Latin?
She
though?
doesn't look Latin.
No, she doesn't look Latin, but she is Latin. She's
Alex, that was the most Latina supremacist comment I've ever heard.
I know.
Yeah, man.
I like my
Freaking
Latina.
racist.
The asses are so much bigger. They're so much more feminine. They have better values. They're more feminine. They're usually way less SJW. I mean, the list of things goes on. I mean,
Black girls have bigger asses.
What?
Black girls.
Not the kind of big that I like. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
What does that even mean?
Well, it's just like sometimes I feel like with black chicks, the asses are just like there's no like structure to the ass.
I think the problem is
you're about to get exposed,
Yeah.
Alex.
Alex, I
Someone's
want
gonna
you
make a
to
reaction video
demonstrate.
to you now.
I want you to demonstrate with a CAD model on your computer exactly the dimensions of the ass that we're looking for.
Well, I've actually done a lot of thinking about this. I actually think about this every night before I go to bed, and this is what the conclusion I've came to. There's two components to an ass. There's the width, and then there's the depth. You don't want to have just too much width without the depth, because then it's just like a fucking pancake.
What
ass.
about the crease?
The crease?
So you know how some girls like their leg just progresses naturally into the ass,
Yeah.
and then some girls it like progresses, and then there's like this nice little booty that kind of hangs over, and there's like a little crease there.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Okay, Alex.
Science.
But then you need the depth too.
Alex, you were right when you said we agree on most things.
So what's wrong
Just
with black booty, huh?
No, there's
Is it
nothing
too much
wrong
width
with black.
or too much depth. Not
There's
enough
some
of
black
I'm
it?
just setting up a trap.
Yeah.
Screen recording.
I'm trying to get me canceled. There's some black chicks that have really nice asses, but it's less often than Latinas. I find that with black chicks, the ass is just like it lacks depth. So there's a lot of width, right? But there's not that like nice springiness. It's just too like. I don't know how else.
Dude,
to
you should
I'm
make a
making this
TikTok
into a
video.
meme for sure. I'm
Dude,
making
you
this
should
into
definitely make a
meme.
TikTok video breaking this down.
Yeah, I
And
think I'd rather not.
It'll be
This
like
is
the
how
hot
you'll
crazy
go
channel, but
viral
with
again
asses.
with the SJW.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Just to clarify, I have nothing against black girls. I've hooked up with several black girls. I even used to have a half black girlfriend, so I'm not in any kind of discriminating against black girls. Let's not even fucking go there.
Yeah, but
It's
clearly
exactly
you
what a
liked her
racist
white
would
side.
say.
She had to be half, or else you wouldn't have.
That was just a
right?
coincidence, okay?
Admit it. Which side of her did you like
Alex,
better, the black half or the
Which
white
guy
half?
did you like more?
I didn't even know she was half white until she told me. She looked like pretty black.
Which side had the depth and which side had the width?
I don't actually that one. I don't think she had much of an ass. This was back in college.
Oh man, dude, this chat is.
You thought Natty was white?
I thought she was Russian.
I
or
thought she was
something.
like European or something.
Yeah.
Really? That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah,
I
she's
thought
like
you said it before
Except-
that she's like European. No,
Without the flat ass.
no, she's half Spanish, half Colombian.
Alex,
Oh.
look, we're changing the world.
see, that's the thing with Latinas is you can't tell because it's like there's so much mixture there, and sometimes like somebody could have moved.
And
to-
Spanish people are a mix in and of
Yes.
themselves. They're a mix of
Yeah.
like Berber peoples, which are like
Yeah,
kind
Natty's
of like
probably
an Arabic
partially
tribe.
Arabic. Yeah, Natty's probably partially Arabic.
the Moors, right? Yeah.
But yeah. Someone said playing with fire. Okay, let me respond to this comment because it's been popping up a lot. Yeah, dude, I appreciate you sending the video. I saw that, but I don't know if that's going to be that interesting. Like, I watched it. I mean, do you guys know what he's talking about? The Ross Jeffries 1992 debate. Have you guys seen it?
No.
It was
No.
interesting. It's just Ross Jeffries debating against people, but it was in fucking 1992. Most of us weren't even alive back then, or if we were, we were like 2 years old.
Probably 360p.
Austin and I were not alive yet.
Yeah,
My dad wasn't even alive then.
If you guys in the comments, if you want us to break this down, let us know. But I just figured it wouldn't be that interesting. That's why I didn't do it.
Huh.
When are you guys traveling to North Korea or Venezuela? Okay, here's the question: where would you rather go?
Well, they're so different. Venezuela makes sense, but
Yeah.
I'd rather go to Venezuela.
Here's
North
the
Korea,
thing.
dude. Any hot North Korean girl has already been put into Kim Jong Un's harem against their will. So
It's actually really easy to get laid in North Korea if you're an elite and you go to Kim Jong Un's fuck island, and they have like a bunch of they get the hottest virgins and they basically ship them off to there. So
let's make them slaves.
So you can, yeah, basically. So it's actually really easy if you hang out with Kim Jong Un to get laid. Apparently, Dennis Rodman has been there several times.
Just run dictator game, bro. Just run dictator game, and you'll be
this
good.
question, like when we're talking about the globe, this question is basically the equivalent of like, what's the best dumpster to scavenge for trash in? It's like, what about not scavenging for trash? Why don't you just go to like a restaurant to
Is
eat?
Canada really that trash?
Yeah, is it really that bad? I thought you loved Toronto.
Yeah, you
no,
just said
I'm just
Toronto
saying
was
in general,
great.
like this is like the West in general. It's not that great, right?
Oh yeah, fair.
Like the reason why we have jobs, well, at least 3 of us, is because it's really bad to date in the West. So
we're almost at 300 live viewers. We have another.
But if you're asking for the least bad
go.
place, I'd suggest, dude, Kelowna. Sorry, Kelowna is the best place. Yeah. Kelowna, network with some guy who knows.
If you're watching this live stream, stay on until we get 300. Then we're going to share all our most embarrassing stories. Okay, what other questions? And we'll continue answering questions. What do you think about harems and having multiple girlfriends? How applicable is it for the average PUA? I think it's fairly applicable. Like, I think it's doable. Like, my situation is probably a little different. Like, I wouldn't say I have a harem. I just have a girlfriend, and then I can fuck other girls, but I can't date them. And sometimes we have fun with said girls. But yeah, I mean, I think it's doable. I think anyone can do it.
We need David Bond to
So
come in here and talk
I don't
about
think
his harem quest.
I don't think everyone can do it, and there's a reason why. There's like
anyone who's good at
people
games
in the world. There's very few people in the world who have a quote unquote harem, and the reason why is not you don't only have to. Yeah, it's like we're learning XYZ when most guys are stuck at like ABC, right? Most guys are stuck at like approach anxiety or like trauma or like, just not knowing how to pull or whatever, which should be like middle of the alphabet. But then like harem is like you're going on those legacy one-on-one dates. You're screening for bisexuality. You have to screen so much that you cancel out a lot of girls that you would have just fucked on a one-on-one setting. And then you just combine them and they have to gel with the rest of the group. And the girls vote to see who they want in the group and who they don't want in the group. And like to be able to, the amount of like social calculation you have to do for social circle game is like more advanced in harems. And you have to like see how this group, how different things affect each girl in the group and blah, blah, blah. It's like it's more complex than I think most people think. And yeah,
I think another thing too is you have to genuinely really like hanging out with girls while you're not fucking them all the time.
Yes.
Like, so Dan Bilzerian, who is it? Chris D'Elia had a great bit about it. Basically, he was saying like, all right, yeah, I'm sure it's great when you're fucking them, but then like the vast majority of time when you're not fucking them, you just have to listen to their bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have that type of personality that you would enjoy that.
I think most guys would prefer the company of guys, like just hanging out with a guy, playing a sport, playing music, hanging out, talking shit.
Yeah, if you're gay, I'm just saying that before somebody in the comments says that. No, it's more of a masturbatory fantasy. Like when you actually, I haven't had a harem before, but first of all, the amount of work I did hang out with David Bond, the amount of work that he has to do. First of all, the man's a genius. The second, I didn't realize how in depth everything is with his harem quest, but it just seems like he gives me the vibe that he genuinely likes to hang out with these girls even when they're not having sex, like just constantly being around them. And I think a lot of guys would get probably annoyed with that. You need a certain type of personality that you'd actually genuinely enjoy it.
I genuinely enjoy hanging out with certain types of girls. I think the main thing that holds me back is I have a really low sex drive. Like if I had a way higher sex drive, I think I would be like fucking way more girls.
That'd be rare for pickup coaches.
Dude,
Yeah.
David started to lift weights because of his harem quest. He was like, he had some like 8-some or something, and he was like, dude, that day I couldn't get my dick hard after like, 10 minutes or something. And he's like, that's what made me start like hitting the gym. Whereas most guys are like, I want to hit the gym and eventually I'll get a girl someday. It's like David Bond's like, fuck, I couldn't get my dick hard in an 8-some, so I had to get a fucking start hitting the gym. Wait.
It's the reverse process.
So it says, how does trauma tie into PUA? Traumatic experiences are basically experiences that are too stressful for your nervous system to process. So they actually get stored in a lot of your muscles and can get stored in parts of your brain. And just the reason why you can often freeze up, or the reason why you have, let's say, an abandonment issue where you kind of shut down or your anxiety skyrockets, and can lead to a bunch of issues in general. And there's a few ways to resolve trauma. There's like 4 or 5 really studied ways to resolve single event trauma and then post-traumatic stress disorders, stuff like this. But I'll save that for another video.
So I would agree, but I also think a lot of people use that as an excuse, right? I have trauma. I need to work out my trauma, and then I'll be able to do pickup. Then I'll be able to do approaches. And you can also get over a lot of trauma by doing things that the trauma makes you not want to do. It's just like anxiety. If you have crippling anxiety, facing the anxiety head on over time and building it up reduces it and makes it less have less power over you. So it's a real thing that you should deal with, but you don't want to turn it into this thing that controls you. Like, once I'm over my trauma, then I'll be able to no, that's bullshit.
I agree
That's
with
what a lot
that.
of people think.
And I think game in and of itself is very therapeutic. I don't know if you feel the same way, AG, but like when you talk to girls, it's just like, I feel like I'm being healed.
You're facing your inner demons, all your insecurities, like you have to face them head on. It can make you more narcissistic, but other than that, it can actually be really good for your mental health.
I disagree with this comment. I've had like every single person I'm friends with is into chicks and money. So I just think that has to do with your friend group. Like every single person I know is obsessed with making money and fucking girls, like way more than me. Where I feel like the slacker with all the people I hang out.
You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's very true, and you should put a legitimate amount of effort into changing that to not be losers to hold you back. So if you don't know guys that are good with game, start finding them. I found my first really good wingman just randomly at a club. Right? You can find wings at clubs. If you live in a small town, if you live in a big city, there's also groups. Like, join the online communities.
Another thing with business is, when was the last time you went to like a business conference and networked with people there?
I had a healthy family. I guess I got bullied a little bit, but it was mainly I had a good group of friends, pretty good upbringing, pretty good childhood. Yeah. So
mine was kind of fucked up. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. My dad was completely broke. He was an alcoholic. Had a lot of issues. Lived in a trailer from the ages of like 14 to 17. So I had the fucked up family.
What about
my mom
you?
was cool though.
I'm not a pickup
But
artist,
she was.
and my childhood was wonderful.
Was it really?
No complaints. Yeah,
Boring.
I know. No. I
Did
did.
you
I
have much
traveled to
of a
Japan
Austin?
every summer and studied with the kids. And
Yeah, my
stuff.
childhood overall was pretty good, I would say.
Yeah. I just can't. I can't complain. Everybody has their own problems and stuff, but yeah, it's like not to the extent of what Avery just said, for sure.
All my trauma happened later on in life, actually, for most of it.
Me
From
too,
the age
me
of
too.
16
Same
months, I was beaten with a metal rod, forced to sleep outside in the snow. My cries were not amended or not helped by anyone. I was burned at the stake at age 3. I was forced to work in the coal mines of West Virginia at age 4. Yeah,
But instead
but I
of getting
honestly,
in
maybe
trouble,
the guy I am.
they gave Austen.
And now you're a PUA because of all the
and they told him to like
experiences. It's
fucking kick the
inevitable.
rocks with a dildo.
Yeah, where did your what childhood trauma made you obsessed with having a dildo collection, Austin?
Dude, I actually the dildo things are just funny. Like, girls come over, they see a 22-inch dildo hanging on your wall, and they're like, "What the fuck?" It's just funny, dude. You take slow-mo videos of girls like shaking it.
Probably also
How
kind of
is-
creates a sexual environment.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's low. It's pretty high, actually. Most of the girls I hang out with, I bang.
Most
I
girls
guess in
America, I
Miami, you
think,
said
first
that
night
there's a
you
lot
bang.
of flaking, right? So it's
There's a
just
lot of
like
flaking,
when
but
they
if I
don't.
meet up with a girl, usually I'll close.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
That seemed like some sort of inside joke. What is their
How to
nanny
make
from
better
Bruges?
friends.
How to make better friends? Well, see
I will-
first what interests you, and then try to find like-minded people based on that. So it depends on what city and stuff you live in. In terms of sports, if you're an athletic guy and you want to meet, athletic Chad friends who are like cool guys to be around, then I suggest something like beach volleyball or some sort of like rec league, ultimate frisbee, potentially.
Think about the people. What kind of people do you want to connect with? So you have to set that intention first and get good at talking to strangers in general, which is one of the things the game gets you better at.
And
exactly what Kevin said.
I have a little bit. So for me, because I'm always moving cities and stuff, it's easy. I have to like meet new people all the time. And a lot of times I meet them through the gym because the gym is so important to me. And also like fitness girls is like totally my type. So, that's where guys screw up with, again, I don't really teach outer game, but guys screw up with gym game is if you just talk to the girls and that's it. It's so obvious what you're doing. But if you're one of those types of guys who's very friendly with everybody in the gym, then naturally when you go talk to a pretty girl that's in the gym, that's like your type, it's not weird because she's seeing you talk to other people. You're not just like targeting her specifically, But yeah, just in terms of just getting social connections and guy friends, my friends tend to be guys who are like super into the gym like me, because you have to just follow based off of what your particular passions are.
The thing with the gym for me, if I just see a really cute girl, I'll just approach her when she's not busy or when she's leaving. I feel like I've heard a lot of people say that, and that's what RSD Max used to say. He'd be like, yo, just be the social guy in the gym and talk to everyone. It's like, but if I were to do that at the gym, dude, my workouts would be 3 hours long. Like,
that's true.
like I just want to go in, do my fucking workouts. And nowadays I just try not to approach the gym in general because I just want to focus on working out. Like there's so many other times I'm out and I can talk to girls. Luckily, my gym's connected to a mall, so I can just go into the mall and day game if I want to afterward or before.
Nice, dude. It's a very simple thing because I've run into this.
Trying to put that up,
especially when I used to work at a gym. You just say, "Got to get back to my workout." Fist bump them, walk away. Works every time. Nobody ever questions it.
Oh.
Sure.
Yeah,
you always feel rude, like leaving a conversation. Like as soon as they finish their thoughts, like that's cool, man. I got to get back to it. See ya. And if you're doing a good workout, you should be like, oh, well, I can't be resting too long anyway. So.
Yeah. I was thinking we could try. This is what the vital message does is just, like we do like an hour and a half and then we do like 30, 40 minutes. We'll just invite people on the stream. What do you guys think about
Okay.
it?
Sure.
I'm always down for that. Yeah.
Who's coming on?
I know. Let's post the link and just see who comes on. But
bad idea.
We're
gonna get some dicks.
No, we'll have.
Dude, it's so funny that there's people that sit down there and they don't even want to come on the stream. They just like want to be in that area.
Yeah, they just want to be in the room.
So strange,
table.
We'll have rules. Okay, here's going to be the
super
rules.
chat on one of 4 channels. Who knows? Google takes half of it anyway. All right. Major cities overseas are getting saturated too with tourists. Second tier cities are the best. For example, I'm in Bucaramanga. Okay, there we go. Colombia, and I haven't seen any tourists go to cities with 500,000 population. All right. Green is secretly David Bond in disguise.
See, this is the thing. Back at like 10 or 20 years ago, you talk about like Medellin and people would be like, I don't even know if I want to go to Colombia. And now this guy's talking about Bucaramanga and people are going to start going to Bucaramanga. Eventually, it's just going to get whittled down so much that I feel like every dating culture in the world is going to suck in like fucking 10 years.
Better have your fun while
you're young.
Before everything gets too saturated.
All right, we're gonna have some rules. You have to show. Okay. You have to turn your camera on, and we're gonna keep each person on for like 10 minutes. So we'll keep it like short and sweet.
That already deleted 90% of people that want to come on.
To answer this question, if you want to get good at anything fastest, you take in-person coaching. It just depends how much you value your time versus money. Rich people tend to value their time a lot, so they take in-person coaching and they just learn the lessons as fast as possible and then implement it to their life. People that are more price sensitive will just, they'll dabble in a little thing. They'll maybe buy a course or whatever and just kind of go through it at their own pace. But then you're not going to get critiques from people like me and AG. You're not going to get the in-person feedback. You're not going to get the going out with everyone and just like pursuing this to its full extent. You're not going to get yeah. So
you can though. I got good at game without coaching, but it took me like 4 years. So you can do it. I've seen people do it, but it's harder and it takes longer. It's just like the first time I went to the gym for 3 months, I didn't know you have to count your calories. So I wasn't really gaining any muscle. Like I had this huge blind spot about how to gain muscle that a coach would have told me, right? A personal trainer would have made that easy to solve. And the same thing is true with pickup. Like you might do indirect and never make your intentions clear, never let a girl know you want to fuck her, and then you don't pull for a year. That's what I did.
So I wouldn't agree with this John Zena guy. He said, don't pay for high-end coaching unless you've proven yourself that you could take a lot of action first. Well, a lot of guys, the biggest sticking point for them is the initial step they take. Once they're starting to take the initial step, they got momentum, then all the other parts of the game are easier to learn. But if you're not taking any action, then you're not going to learn anything. So it's better to start the momentum.
Yeah, I've had multiple clients that had never approached before the boot camp, and then in the next year, they pulled 20, 30 girls. I've seen that happen many times.
Yeah, this guy's did it.
As an aside, this is the funniest this is the funniest username and thumbnail I've ever seen. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just had to point
this guy said in person for a long time is probably the best. Yes, but
if you can afford it.
In order to do that, it would be so prohibitively expensive. It's like literally think about any version of that. A doctor, you walk in, you pay him like $100 or $200 for like, 15 minutes of his time. Like imagine if you said, hey doc, I want to live with you for like the next year. Most people would just say no. Like that's not even worth it at any price point, right? So
dude, why is this Valerie Thong person here?
I don't know, but I'm not going to let him on because he's troll.
Yeah, if you have no video,
I'm just going to ban
All
him.
right, keep him on. I'm going to tell him that he has to turn his camera on if he wants to come on. But if he doesn't turn his camera on, we won't let him on. But yeah, guys, we dropped the link.
Just going to start playing Rolo clips again.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm
talking about us.
All right, guys, we dropped the link. So the link is there. Yeah, you come on, discuss whatever.
That's also true.
Did you get your Tinder working again, Alex? Not really, but I haven't tried.
Why haven't you tried? You just think it's inferior to?
Too bad Simple Pickup doesn't exist anymore.
I just don't really. Yeah, I just have enough leads coming in from like Seeking and then other shit. I have like a profile with Natty that I have on Tinder, but yeah, I don't have my own profile.
Looks like, I'm telling you, man, you deleted like everybody by saying that they need to have their camera on.
Why are people so scared of showing their face? All right, if you guys want to keep your camera off, that's fine. But if we see any signs of trolling or whatever tomfoolery, we'll kick you off.
No, dude, camera on. It's not that hard.
It seems to
and
be.
Also, apparently. If they have their camera off, then you never know. There might be a spicy surprise.
Yeah, no spicy surprises. No surprises of any kind, spicy or non-spicy. People don't want to show their faces because they have a white-collar job. So you're not going to get fired from your job just for like coming on the stream.
Yeah, I know, right? People just get so paranoid. It's like, dude, nobody.
And if you are, that job sucks. So,
yeah.
Hi, we saw that you asked a question that, hey, Alex, what's your diet like on a live stream? I'm gonna have to fire you. I'm not able to feed you
immediately.
Illegal.
Alex does not leave Brickle.
Yeah, that's true. Once in a blue moon, I do.
I don't think RSD charges $30K for a boot camp. I've never heard of that, but they do take like 30 clients, which is absurd, right? That's just ridiculous.
How the hell can you manage 30 clients during a boot camp?
Basically, his salespeople were doing the coaching the program, and the guys gaming had better game than the students had better game than the salespeople.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Fuck.
Yeah, dude.
Do people really think they're going to get good coaching from Mars Lee at this point?
I mean, they still get plenty of clients, so
It doesn't
They
matter
still do
what
like
you say
dating
or what
coaching.
anyone
I thought they
says,
don't do
they're
that
gonna-
anymore.
They do it on the side.
Okay.
yeah, Tyler still gets 20 to 30 clients per boot camp,
That's nuts.
which you just can't coach more than 5 maybe, but really 3 is, I'd say, the sweet spot.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just by being around someone, you just absorb all of their energy, and that's how you learn games so quickly. It's not by actually being coached by them. No, I'm fucking.
Yeah, if you're just around Owen, you
I
just
was like,
get
wait,
all-
what?
I feel like
Especially
you're
someone with
going
a
in
beard.
direction. You just become like a bald ginger who talks in a gay guy voice. Oh,
You instantly
God.
You're not
increase
as
your
big a fan, huh?
DHT and your scalp when you're around RSD Tyler.
I think
Yeah.
the reason before I came on this that I didn't like talking shit about anyone is because that's like a female thing, right? To cause reputation damage. But it is a certain thing. Like, let's say there's a psychopath who enters your village who's gonna like start killing people. You do need to spread the word, right? So there's it's kind of a gray area, but there should be some line where it's like past that line, the unethical things that people are doing should be called out.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Dude, imagine if Alex and I didn't start the whole thing about Fresh and Fit, like at all.
Did you
And
start
and,
it?
and,
Well,
and,
man,
and
you
John
were-
Anthony lifestyle to his credit, right? People would still be taking them seriously, and some people still do, but those guys,
Well, maybe
they're
less.
just-
It
A lot
doesn't
of
matter
people
what
do.
it doesn't matter what you do. People will always like, dude. There could be the dumbest person in the world, just regurgitating things that they heard or whatever, and it's unhelpful content. But if you could say whatever you want to the rest of your life, people will still follow that person, right?
Mhm, mhm.
That's just how the world
Dude,
works.
we have all of these faker daker people trying to join our chat. I'm not even gonna say the name because it's just like that they get a thrill out of being like, oh, this person, it's impersonating this guy, and then meanwhile he's jerking off behind his webcam.
I don't know why people like are so weird about about talking and shit, like with showing their face. I don't know. It's bizarre to me.
Yo,
I
let's
think it
drop.
just
I'm gonna drop
depends
this link
on-
in the AC.
The what?
I think it just depends on
The AC, the
the
Alpha Circle.
alpha circle.
What was I gonna say? What do you guys think about Tay blowing up in the last month?
I'm think there's a good chance he might get like deleted off all social media.
It's possible.
I think that's very likely.
How can he get deleted if
I don't think so.
most of the channels aren't even his content? Or
There's
aren't
already
even
a
They can
huge
start, like,
campaign for
banning
TikTok
them.
to get him banned, and it's not his account. What you would do is ban the tags.
shadow ban the term.
The
Yeah,
tags, yeah. I don't think it'd be that hard to do.
but
But
let's
yeah,
say the
like-
tag doesn't include Andrew Tate, and it's just business advice or something, and you constantly see that guy, and then it leads
might be
to
a second
another
wave.
website.
Right?
Because dude, he
It
has
doesn't
like
matter, man.
he has 7 versions of his back end product that I've seen.
7
Dude.
version?
He
What do you
he
mean?
took his online product and uploaded it to like 7, maybe even more. I mean, let's say 10 different places. So you can't ban a link to one website. And then
Oh, you
you
mean
can
like
just create different
Gumroad
links,
and-
call it different things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have
Oh,
you?
Yeah, but here's
have you
another
guys
thing too:
seen-
is like when people ban people, it riles up his already zealous audience, and then at that point, you're gonna have free speech people come to his defense. It's gonna work to his benefit in the long run.
I
If
told
he starts
David to
get
join the live
banned.
stream.
Who?
David Bond.
Yo, have you
Oh,
guys been
nice.
getting?
Is he watching?
No, I just sent it in the group chat.
Have you guys been
Yeah,
getting?
no, it'd be great to
emails-
have his perspective.
Have you guys been getting emails like this? I've been nonstop.
Yes.
Dude,
I get 10 of these a
Yeah,
day.
it's all Andrew
that,
Tate.
that comes
It's all
from Andrew Tate's copywriting.
I
I'm
actually-
thinking about ways to block that from my email, just like to have all those comments just immediately go to spam.
So I tried a few of them. They
Hold
all
on.
just some of the ones that like seemed good copy to see how they converted. They all were bad. So
All right, what's up, Rems?
Someone named Andrea is
Yo.
in Hustlers University.
yo, what's up?
Oh, we got David in the house. What up?
Oh wow, there he
Yo,
is,
David Bond. What's up?
What's going on?
Mr. Bond.
You guys see me or hear me?
One guest at a time.
Yeah,
Wait,
we'll bring you on a little bit later, Rem. Sorry about that.
Wait, what is this?
YouTubers get
Yo.
priority.
We're doing a live stream on best or game around the world, how game compares. So I thought you'd be a really good person to have on this.
Yeah, am I on YouTube?
You're live.
Yeah.
Bro.
I don't know. You just sent me a link. And I clicked it. I was like, I thought you just wanted
put
to
some
talk.
pants on, bro.
Hold on, let's take a look at where am I streamed at?
It's all on YouTube
4 different channels. My channel.
Streaming
Alex-
on my channel, Alex's, Austin's, and
Okay.
A.G Hayden's.
Oh, I see it. Here we go. Let's see. Let's see myself.
Channel,
Okay. Ha ha ha. Cool. All right. Well, here I am. Bam.
How's the Philippines, bro?
It's cool. The only thing is, right now my biggest bottleneck is the housing. I'm trying to find a 2-bedroom apartment that's also guest friendly, which is like really challenging. But otherwise, it's fine. I just got here, so things haven't really.
That's cool, man. So the topic of this podcast is like international dating, more specifically, like are there different rules and things that you need to follow when you're going to other countries? Is it better in other countries? Austin brought up Bottle's theorem a little bit. Do you want to get into Bottle's theorem? Just talk about it.
Sure. I just wasn't not mentally prepared to. Yeah. So Bottle's theorem is basically it's an observation that I've been made. It's an observation that I made over like 7 years, dating in different places and traveling the world. Is I noticed that there is a pattern where, for whatever reason, the closer you get to the equator, it seems like the better it gets in terms of like the people. And my theory on that is that the closer to the equator you get, it never gets cold and the weather generally stays pretty nice. And that has to have an effect on the mental health of the population, right? Like if you ever study like human evolution and like anthropology, there's like this classic analogy of like the bonobo versus the chimp. And the chimps are highly aggressive. They have really, violent tendencies. And the chimps are in highly competitive environments full of danger and constant like problems. Whereas bonobos are evolved in like this environment where there's like not a lot of competition, not a lot of predators. They're really chill. And if literally like right now, just type in the bonobo versus the chimp, basically the observation is bonobos fuck all day. They just fuck, they have orgies and they're chill as hell. Whereas chimps are like really violent and possessive. And there's like the alpha male will kill you if you try to fuck his chick. But the bonobos are like orgy hippies. And like basically the narrative of the bonobo versus the chimp is that the bonobo was in a chill environment with very little problems, not a lot of stress. And when humans are left in that, they just tend to be chill and they tend to fuck a lot. And so my theory is that the equator, if you'll notice, the equator places are all like tropical and chill. You got, like kind of like this, like the weather never gets that cold. And so the closer to the equator, the better. And then the other one is cities that are big, but not visited. So cities that are large in size, but not visited by outsiders. And so when you go to places that are big cities that are not visited by outsiders, there's something about that just produces like a really good dating environment. And then when you combine the two, it's like basically, if you look at every place that has a stereotype of being easy, they all follow Bottle's theorem perfectly. It's like equator plus highly visited. So like a good example is Bali versus Bali. Yeah. I mean, of course there's Somalia.
Yeah. What are you bringing the harem quest to Mogadishu in Somalia, David?
Yeah. So by the way, when I say like
David Bond introducing Warlord game.
Yeah. So like closer to the equator doesn't mean exactly perfectly on it. It just means like, like the farther down or the farther up, it just something about it just deteriorates. Also,
no, it's a real thing, man. I think I told you this in person, but oh my God, I can't believe I'm mentioning Nietzsche. But he actually did mention in one of his books that like people close to the center of the equator, they tend to be more religious, but they're religious. The religious type things that they do tend to be very much more festive, as opposed to people in colder environments. They tend to be very much like in the Protestant Reformation. The churches are there can be no fancy things at all. It just needs to be like white walls. and it's indicative of the culture and the mindset of the people. So you're definitely onto something in terms of like, if you're close to the equator, you're going to be like way more sensual and way more, I think that's definitely a real thing for sure.
Well, the best example of this is like you take a place like Bali, Indonesia, which everyone knows Bali, but nobody knows Jakarta. And if you ever go to Bali and you try to meet girls, you'll notice that it's mostly just tourists, but the girls who are not tourists are really jaded and they're kind of not pleasant. Then you go to Jakarta, which is a place no one ever goes. And then it's great. People are staring at you and people want to take selfies with you. And there's a thing where, like, in general, dating is basically, in my opinion, a dating location is not a question of money or status, it's a question of attention, and it's a question of options. So, like, if you go to a place where there's not a lot of things going on, being invited on a date is going to stand out more, because the girl's options every day, she wakes up with, hey.
I agree with that. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. So when you invite a girl to do something, that thing is competing with other things. So if you just go to a place where there's less things going on, girls just say yes more often. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to a place where there's a high stimulus, high, like, concerts and parties and
Vegas, Miami,
house dudes and all that shit, you might be equally attractive in a vacuum, but because you're in an environment where there's just other shit going on, now you are just one of many options that you may not win. Versus if you go to a place where there's just less going on, now your invitation stands out more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's sort of like the grocery store analogy. Do you remember that in our podcast with Chang Nation? Do you remember that grocery store analogy that you made?
Yeah, I think so. Well, another analogy was like, it's like being a tall guy in a room full of tall guys. It's not that your asset of being tall is now gone. It's just that now it's invisible because everyone's tall. So if you go to a place that's high stimulus with, like, tons of dudes, tons of stuff going on, then you might still be a cool guy, but your invite now has to compete with, you know what the best, like, almost scientific thing is, when I travel with guys, like, I was in Cali, Colombia for 6 months, and one of the things that really threw me off was when one of my buddy Alex came to visit, and my buddy Alex is, like, really charismatic, but he likes to smoke weed, and he'd always be on the balcony smoking weed. And so now I'd invite girls over.
David, you don't have to talk about me in the third person. You can
when girls would come over, typically I was the center of all the attention and all that. And then now him on the balcony smoking weed, the girls wanted to smoke weed. So suddenly now I had to, like, I had this thing where girls were floating to the balcony, and I had two options. Like, I could let them do it, which wasn't great, or I could tell them to like come back, which now I'm, like, kind of boring. I'm like the guy that's, like, killing the fun. And, like, just the smallest introduction of attention competition, like, modified the environment. You know what I mean? So that's a micro example, but if you take that to a city or a country or a continent, I don't know if I'm making sense. I'm really casual.
No, you're making total sense. So basically just, like, reduce competition and just be practical about it. It's like the most extreme example would be, for example, like, if you're on a deserted island and it's just you and 100 women, you're going to be having a fun time, right? So it's like, obviously we can't actually recreate that, but you can recreate something down that path if you're strategic about it.
Yeah. So, like, for me, whenever I listen to a lot of, like, dating advice, I think a lot of people, they speak in generalities, and they make declarative statements about the nature of women. But what's really going on is that they have their data sample is based on their city, and a lot of us live in high stimulus cities, Miami, Vegas, right? Like, do you know how different it is to get a date in Vegas than it is to get a date in Albuquerque? Dude, when I did a road trip across the U.S., we drove literally from California to New York and back. We hit up every hillbilly town you can imagine. And when you go to the places that just have more stuff going on, you go to Vegas, man, like girls aren't going to go to Starbucks. Like they're not like a coffee date doesn't stand out against the bouncer or the promoter that's saying, hey, do you want to hang out with fucking Drake? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whereas you go to Albuquerque and the waitress that just got off work, she's like, wow, let's go to Applebee's. It's so fun. You know, like, like it's just less going on. And so, you know,
I was telling you guys, Albuquerque's dope. That was one of my.
It's just more proof that Albuquerque is like the spot. Like, Alex was literally raving about it a while ago, and then you just brought it up now too, David. How it's like underrated.
Well, yeah, you listen to guys like Fresh and Fit, and Fresh and Fit, they'll make these rants, and they're probably accurate, but they're really based. They're basically what they're really saying is just Miami dating.
Mm-hmm. They're not Miami sugar babies specifically,
and specifically the girls on their podcast, which is an even smaller sample of clout chasers.
Yeah.
In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to game sugar babies on your podcast in Miami. Let's get into it.
Let's bring on this guy because he's been waiting for a while. Let's just bring him on for a second. Yo, what up?
Why is he just showing us a screen of?
I'm going to take him off.
Fresh and Fit? What was that?
I'm nervous. There's a dick coming. So, Carl, turn on your camera so we can actually see who you are.
Oh, boy.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, man? I think we had you on last week.
Yo,
right?
what color pill are you?
He's
like mostly black, but with like, it's hard to say, dude. But yeah, mostly black.
You're pretty good looking. How are you, black pill?
Oh,
you seem pretty positive too.
Yeah, you don't have like a vacuum of negative energy. It doesn't really make sense.
Oh yeah, for sure. No. I appreciate that. Who said that?
Me.
That was Avery.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I really like your content.
Welcome,
I like all your guys' content. So
appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm definitely some red pill too. But I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Andrew Tate, like how his game is. What's your guys' thoughts?
Dude, let David talk about this.
Yeah, let's let David talk about it.
Yeah,
dude, David had the funniest fucking story the other day.
What happened?
David had the funniest IG story on Tate the other day.
Andrew, look. Here, I need to do something. Do 2 seconds. I will talk about Andrew Tate. Just give me like literally 1 second. Hold on.
Okay. I think the rest of us have, I mean, we did 2 podcasts on the guy. I think
we're just here, David banging that Asian chick in the background.
Yeah. Well, that's why I put her on mute.
Just 2 seconds. Oh, hey, at least he's efficient for us.
Let me just take care of my harem really quickly. Harem duties.
That was
it would have been funny if you guys had this yesterday because I had like 4 girls over. And whatever. Okay, Andrew Tate. So I think that Andrew Tate's a really interesting guy. Obviously, it's really hard to not look at him with all the TikToks and stuff. But for me, a lot of my irritation with Andrew Tate is that a lot of people, when you look at what Andrew Tate posts, when you look at what exists of him, 95% of it is just him talking about stuff or him showing his watch or his cars and all that, which is fine. It's good. But a lot of people, they just believe these stories, right? So like for me, people talk about, I had a webcam empire. People say like, I had a webcam empire. Okay. What was the website? Like, I'm not doubting it's real. Why does no one ever ask like, so you had this webcam empire, like we all know webcam sites like Jasmine and what's another one? Like actually, I actually don't know the names of these websites, but they all have different names, right? Like,
dude, I'm sorry, this thing's hilarious.
This is awesome.
I guess what I'm saying is people just like there's not enough evidence of the things he says, like he talks about the boxing champion thing. You can actually watch the videos, but this, like, I had a webcam empire. Okay. What was the website called? Is it still online? Like if someone said like, I founded Amazon, like we could all go to Amazon and look at it. Right. But like, what's Andrew Tate's webcam thing? Like, I don't know. The second thing is, all these claims about the having a harem. Where? I'm not saying he's a liar. I'm just, as someone who's highly visual and highly audible, like it takes me weeks to remember a girl's name. Symbols and all that don't mean anything. Like I need to see it for my brain to register reality. That's why like Roosh V, I've never understood, why do we look at him? There's no visual, it's all text, you know? So for Tate, it's like, these are great stories, but where's the stuff? Like, where's the, yeah, we see the jet, we see the watch. I can see that you have a hot tub with your brother. Your brother is a very handsome gentleman, but all these stories about these women, I have all these girlfriends. Where the fuck are they? And also like this claim that he has all these girlfriends, they all know each other. Well, why is there no evidence of it? And the one video that people bring up is this video where he's like, I brought all my girlfriends together. You watch the video, it's just a house party, you know? And he also like says like, oh, like there's all this like stuff that he says that conflicts with other stuff. Oh yeah, dude, all my girls, it's a harem, blah, blah, blah. By the way, I'll send a voice note and I'll forward it to all the girls. Well, why do you got to do that? I got all my bitches in a group chat. They all know each other. They all suck my dick while looking at me at the same time. I don't need to forward messages. They're all in a group chat. They all hang out. So like, what it irritates me because people compare me to him and they call me the wish version of Andrew Tate. You know what I mean?
Well, dude, hold on. So you're actually one of the few people that can actually really weigh in on this, because if Andrew Tate claims to have a harem, you know, the only people that can tell whether he's lying or not are people that have harems themselves. So for you, you can actually give legit criticisms of this, whereas most 99% of other guys can't. So do you see anything that he says that is such a contradiction that it makes you question whether he even actually has a harem or not?
So the first thing is, the definition to me of what a harem is a group of girls who are dating one guy, but they're also dating each other. Like they're all in the same room. Just go to Google Images and type in harem and just look at the pictures. Okay. It's all girls together. So if that's the definition, for him to have that, his stories must include the women knowing each other and being friends with each other, or everything being kind of like not a secret. Whereas you'll hear these stories where he'll give like dating advice, and all this dating advice is like how to date lots of girls at the same time without them kind of knowing. And during interviews, they'll ask him questions like, so, you know, this is one of your girls. Does she know about? And he's like, oh, I'm a man of God. We don't talk about that. And you can tell that he's not super transparent. Like he's trying to keep the girls kind of distant about it, which isn't compatible. Like, would you imagine if like Hugh Hefner was like, oh, don't tell her about my other girlfriends? It's like, bitch, they're in the same fucking bed. You don't need to. That language is not compatible with that. So, look, I'm not claiming anyone's a liar. I'm not a hater. I'm just saying, like, to me, it's, as someone who's highly visual, the lack of visual evidence is irritating. You know what I mean? Because all these guys are like, he does this, and I'm like, here I am searching. Where is it? I don't see it. Like, type in Andrew Tate girl, and it's like 3 photos from 2015. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, right. Look, he's charismatic, and there's a lot of stuff he says that's true, and he's rich. That's really cool.
Yeah. You know? Well, one time I was really tired, and I had a date scheduled on Hinge or whatever, but I'm really tired, right? So I go on the date, and to be honest, like, I'm not being as I'm being a little reckless, a little ruthless, because I'm tired. You know what I mean? I kind of don't give a shit. And I kind of gave a little bit unintentionally like Andrew Tate vibes. And the girl just like thought I was like an arrogant asshole, and she immediately unmatched me. So yeah, that shit doesn't work for sure. If you act like him on dates, the girl is gonna just like not perceive you as confident.
I can't.
I gotta talk about this. Wait, come on, dude! Don't kick the guy.
What just happened?
He's talking.
Yeah, what?
I acted like Andrew Tate once, therefore he doesn't have any game. What? Dude, I'm sorry. The lack of logic hurts.
Dude, come on. We can't just kick the guy off.
You can't just kick him out, man.
We're not fresh and fit.
We
one time.
Cast on our guests.
I went to the gym one time and I didn't get jacked. So lifting doesn't work. Kevin Ray Wilder, fucking gym scam bitch.
Well, let him finish. I mean, he was making a point. He's kind of long winded. He's not a podcaster.
Dude, I can't.
Well, I feel bad, dude. We apologize for a special friend.
Rod's Pill Dating. We apologize.
I'm sorry, guys. If you
Austin's
do come on the
behalf.
stream, try not to be retarded. I can't. I have very little patience.
Now
for that.
no one's gonna join.
Yeah, seriously.
Now everybody's gonna.
Now we're never going to get to 300 live
At
viewers.
least-
Unless they're
50%
like
of the audience
masochistic
probably
in
isn't
some way,
retarded.
they're just like, oh, I can't wait for Austin to punish me for being a bad boy that got out of line.
Maybe
We're gonna have
Mr.
some people
Slade will
like that,
come
I
on. Let's hit
guarantee.
him up.
Then Mr. Slade.
So this is the thing. It doesn't matter what David says about Andrew. Andrew Tate's still going to grow in popularity. People don't care about the truth. People just gravitate toward people who are charismatic leaders. They gravitate toward people who have funny points, right? They don't really gravitate toward people who pursue the truth. So
Well, that's a really
it doesn't
good
matter.
point because it's like it goes to show you the power of charisma. Because it's entirely possible Andrew Tate has not had a harem this entire time, but people just believe him because he's so charismatic. So it's possible, you know. I think he probably does in some way.
I want to speak to the topic of like acting like another guy. I think that whenever you see a guy that has a result and you find out what he's saying or doing, it's really tempting to mimic that. And I think that's not a bad idea to try. The problem is sometimes these things work because they're backed up by you actually being like really badass. You know what I mean? Like if you act kind of badass, but there's not a lot behind it, then it can come across as kind of, here's an example. Like, I have a buddy named Mark who recently tried to mimic the way I text. Cause I mean, if you guys saw the way I texted, oh, I'd be canceled so fast, dude. I text like a black pimp. Like I literally like I talk like if you didn't see who I was, you'd be like, this guy's in jail. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm really aggressive and really like insane. And so my friend Mark tried to copy it and he just kept getting blocked. And I'm like, okay, Mark, you gotta understand, like when the girl sees the way I talk, she's referencing my Instagram. So it kind of makes sense, right? But it's kind of like for example, let's see if I can get an example.
I kind of know what you mean. So while you're thinking about it, it's like just being congruent, right? Just be congruent with the image that
Exactly. Like I'll be really blunt and really demanding and really rude, but it makes sense with what they're seeing on the page. You know what I mean? Whereas like I was like, if your photo is like you were like a chubby bald guy and you work as an accountant, you're not going to be like, look, I don't wait. So if you're late, you know, like you're not going to talk like that way. You know what I mean? So like if you're just a random guy and you're driving like a 2008 Honda Civic and you're trying to act like Andrew Tate, like it doesn't work. It's not, you know, like it's not going to work that well, probably.
So do you think a guy like that, should he prioritize having a new social media image to be more congruent with talking like that, or should he have just a whole different way of presenting himself?
So I actually do think that, you know, as horrible as this is to, like, I don't like this being true, but right now our social media presence is starting to matter more than our reality. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree with that.
I mean, I know guys, I travel with them. A lot of my data is basically I travel with guys who are in the same city as me, in the same country, trying to do the same thing as me. So we have like this parallel thing going on. And we're both really similar in appearance. I had a buddy who recently was traveling with me for a few weeks, and he really struggled because his Instagram, he didn't want his girlfriend to see what he was doing. So he made a brand new Instagram, and the Instagram was blank. And it was like new Instagram, like 000, everything 0. And he posts like 3 things. And girls didn't want to meet him because they thought he was fake. They're like, why was it made yesterday? You're weird. Are you real? And like, he's like, no, yes, I'm real. And like, he was a real guy with voice notes and video calls, but they were so sussed out by him that they were like flaking him. And so, and also one of the students of our program, the Millionaire Social Circle, he was very adamant about not having an Instagram at all. And then he realized like girls just don't, they're like, nah, man, if you don't have an Instagram, you're a killer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, especially if you're trying to create a harem, like.
Well, you know, not everyone's trying to. Some guys are just trying to end their 5-year dry spell. You know.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I just can't imagine. I think maybe someone can argue it's a generational thing, but I cannot imagine dating without Instagram. I just can't, especially internationally. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Instagram is just such a important thing to use. You know, I could see why some guys don't use it, but
social media matters, man. It matters a lot, and it sucks that it matters because, like, all of us deep down, we really would love it to be like the Disney movies where you see a girl at a bookstore and you give her a wink and she comes over and now you have a kid and you marry her. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know. So the question is, what is your avatar? Who are you? What is your avatar like? What are you presenting? Are you like the cool gym bro? Are you the golfer guy? Are you the lifestyle guy? You got to pick your avatar. It's kind of like World of Warcraft. You pick your character, and then you just level up your character, and you try to document it.
That was the perfect choice of metaphor for this audience.
It was. I think half of us have all at one point or another have been addicted to World of Warcraft.
I will say this.
Avery, myself, we're all.
Yeah, me too. I actually used to be addicted to World of Warcraft too.
Oh, really?
What is that? What is that with this space and all of us?
I know has.
Dude, I played it.
Austin's too young to have played World of Warcraft. You probably played like
PUBG all day.
I was in, like,
PUBG. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it was like 15 years ago.
Dude,
it was it was right around the time the South Park World of Warcraft episode came out. I will say this: the one thing that annoys the fuck out of me about Andrew Tate is because of his course, all those fuckers are emailing me nonstop, flooding my inbox with that offer of like writing me 3 emails, and it's getting so fucking annoying. It's like literally 10 emails every single fucking day I get from these guys.
The funny
thing, he's responsible for that, and for that, Andrew. Not cool, bro. Not cool.
And his course being successful is making his clients be unsuccessful because the market's becoming flooded. So the more successful his course is, the less successful the students will be.
Yeah, if you're
outside of Hustlers University and you're a copywriter and it's over.
You're also
to another profession. It's so saturated. Yeah.
One other thing I will comment on, and I'm not making an accusation. I'm just passing along the info. Someone emailed me a video on TikTok of Andrew Tate with several girls, and there was violence involved, or at least it seemed like it. And there were several clips. And there's new ones, not the ones you broke down. There's new ones, and I don't think it's real. I don't know. I have no idea, but it was pretty fucking scary. I'll be honest.
Well, why wouldn't it be real? Like, you think it's like a deep fake or something, or what?
It could be like the what he says is that they were acting. I have no way of confirming whether they were or they were not. So that's why I haven't I don't put shit on my channel unless I'm convinced it's true.
Yeah,
so I have no way of knowing.
Probably a good move. Yeah.
Alex, I saw that video you posted about Tinder. I actually wrote up a 3 email sequence for you. Would you like me to send it over as a free gift?
Yes, please. Yo, David.
Oh man,
do you know who QB Willie is?
No, don't bring this guy up. QB Willie is who.
Let's give David the option. I'll respect whatever he decides. There's this guy QB who's like obsessed with you, and he keeps like talking shit about you. I don't know why.
Wait, are you talking about QB, the black guy?
Yeah. What's the story?
Yeah, he was in my Telegram for months, and so my Telegram, I don't censor my Telegram, and I actually let haters come in and talk shit. They can talk shit all they want, you know. So he kind of, he was in there, and sometimes when people realize they're not going to get banned for talking bad about you, like they'll actually it just accelerates to, like, it's almost like they kind of want to get banned. They're like, how far can I go? Like, they'll start talking about my dead mom and all this stuff, and it like
Jesus Christ, dude.
And then people keep tagging me like, ban him. I'm like, why should I ban him? It's like, because he's saying bad things. I'm like, good. But eventually it got to a point where like the whole Telegram just became like this really weird thing. And so I told him, I just banned him. And when I banned him, he went crazy, and he's obsessed with proving that I pay girls and all this. And to be fair, I haven't actually interacted with him, or probably I kind of forgot about him because it's been like 4 months. But I don't know, like, what is he saying? Like, should I address it? Like, what's
he just wishes that he was you. That's all. So he goes around saying like, oh, well, we're against travel maxing and geomaxing. It's like, no, we don't. We just think that you're not a good person that represents it. We think someone like David is, right? That's really all it is. But yeah, he's jealous.
He wants to be you. He basically strawmans you a lot. But I was gonna ask, how do you feel about bringing him on and having a little conversation with him?
God,
If
I
you
mean,
don't
of
want to do it, it's totally
Of
cool.
course, I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. But I mean, look, but I can just preemptively address. So, like,
Okay.
people claim that I pay girls, that I'm paying them money to pretend to like me on camera. So, okay, so if that's the case, okay, well, first of all, if that's the case, like, am I paying? Like, did I predict the live stream? Hey, come over, pretend to, But how? Let's say, okay, in all seriousness, how do I prove I'm not doing that? Like, describe on paper what I have to do to prove, because again, it's like saying, hey, Austen, there's a pink unicorn in your ass that's invisible. How do you prove me wrong? Tell me. You know what I mean?
Unfalsifiable claim.
Yeah, exactly. So, what exactly? Like, I'm happy to intellectualize these.
I need
things.
all of your bank statements for the past 3 years, and I
Exactly.
need all of your cryptocurrency transactions.
So, like, just instead of debating whether this is occurring, tell me what I can do to prove it false. Do you want me to live stream GoPro on my head for 47 hours? Like, does QB want me to fly him out and live with me? Tell me what I can do.
You don't even need to do that, because the burden of proof isn't on you. The burden of proof is on
Dude,
him.
he just got a free immersion program
Yeah,
out
exactly.
of you, David.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's his whole plan. He just wants a
Guys have
free.
been doing that to
free
me for
program.
This
ages.
is what Alex does.
So,
That's what people do to me.
Like,
I think
I'm
they're
happy to
fraud,
have
and
the
I bring them on and
discussion.
coach them for free. Yeah.
I'm happy to have the discussion, but the thing is, for a debate about the truth to be meaningful, there has to be a way. It's like your opponent. It's like, if anyone who studied debate and philosophy, one of the great questions, like in the atheism versus theism debate, is you say, okay, what would qualify as evidence? Like, we like to debate whether God exists or not. Okay, both sides, there needs to be a world where a certain type of evidence is conceivable, and if you were presented it, you would believe. And like, you'll say to a Christian, what could I show you that would make you convinced God it doesn't exist? Oh, nothing. The answer is nothing, right? Okay, so if the answer is nothing, why are we debating? Because you just conceded that there's not a single sentence I could utter or evidence I could present that would persuade you. So what's the purpose of the debate, right? So for me, you're going to have a guy on. He's just going to say, you do this, you do this, you do this. What can I reply with other than I do not do that? Like, what do you want to see? Do you want me to pull up my fucking chase to withdraws? Like, I just don't understand, So yeah, bring the guy on. We can waste 20 minutes, but I mean,
Dude, I don't think it's even worth bringing him on, man.
I think
This is all this guy lives for. I mean, just keep giving him free attention.
Dude, I think it'll be well. Let's let the chat decide. Let's just leave it up to the chat.
And of course, the chat wants to see it.
Well, I think it'll be highly entertaining. But that is a good point, David. Like, QB, you're gonna have to start off by answering that question. That's the first question you have to answer. Which is, what would be an acceptable level of proof for you to change your opinion?
Dude, how much brain cancer do we have to like enforce upon these viewers?
Look.
Well,
I just have a feeling that this guy's gonna piss Austen off, and Austin's just gonna kick him out.
He's gonna be like,
based on what happened last time.
We can have a discussion.
What's the proof, David?
Pay for play. Like, that's a real discussion we can have.
Where are your receipts, David? Where are your receipts, man?
Well, no, I think David brings up a good point, and that's like my gripe with black pillars is they always say, "Oh, well, your shit is fake." I'm like, okay, well, what will be acceptable level of proof? What if I show you a porno of me fucking a chick? Would that be acceptable? Because I have those. And they're like, oh, well, you could have paid the girl. Okay, what's acceptable level of proof? And there's never an answer to that question.
Just to tell you, David, this guy is convinced that I'm gay. And so I literally said, like, no, I'm serious. I said, like, oh, well, how about I just send you a video of one of my sex tapes that prove to you I'm not gay? And he's like, oh, no, there's no necessary need for that. This is just like... This is the type of person that we're dealing with. Just letting you know if he comes on.
He said give him 10 minutes.
Well, this reminds me. Well, I have to go to the gym in about an hour, by the way. This reminds me of, I remember like 5 years ago, a lot of guys were like, because I used to do day game in LA like all day. I actually got suspended from my job because of it. But I would go to LA and I would take Adderall and I would do like, hey, shh. Muted. Yo, Allie. Stop. I would take Adderall and I would do like 8-10-hour day game sessions, and I would record everything on the GoPro. And I would sleep on an air mattress at my friend Rob's house. And so I used to do this, and I would post it in the forums, like the RSD forums. And then a lot of the people were like, oh, well, they're all Asian and Mexican. And so then I started hitting on white girls, and they're like, well, it's all fake. And like, then I finally started making money and started traveling. And then it went from like, oh, well, it's all because you're in Japan. And then it's like, try that here, try that there. And no matter what I do, it's like, there's like this endless pit of like, oh, it's only because you're in that country. Oh, it's only because they're this race. Oh, and then eventually one of the arguments was that it's because my name was David. And they're saying like, try having a Middle East. You know,
it's only because you're hitting on straight women. Try hitting on a lesbian to show the game really works.
You know, dude. One guy was like, if you had a Middle Eastern name, try pretending to be Muhammad. And I'm like, so what exactly if I actually listen to this, I'm going to have to put on blackface, pretend to be Muhammad, and hit on specifically this type of woman. I'm going to have to pretend to be homeless. Like it just never ends. And then even if I appeased all it's only because you XYZ, then I'm just going to be this like homeless blackface Muhammad guy hitting on girls as a home, like it's stupid.
Well, that's easy if you're already human, dude.
It's fake. You know,
but you're still human.
Yeah,
dude.
all
That's
just to prove the haters wrong. Yeah.
Imagine doing that as an ostrich.
Dating some black pillars once, and they were like, "Yeah, Alex, we've seen photos of you with like Latinas, but you don't have too many photos of you with like tall white girls." I'm like, "Well, I'm not really into tall girls." Like, "Oh, that's cope." I'm like, "No, dude. Like, I don't find tall girls taller than me attractive."
Exactly.
I like
it's weird when people just have this like white woman worship. I'm like, I've been around white women my whole life, and so have the rest of us. Maybe we want something a little bit different, you know? It's weird how guys will just start worshiping white women. It's
dude, I will take like a big booty Latina over like a tall white girl all day, every day.
Absolutely, yeah. I think just because there's this if guys have just struggled with white girls, then automatically they're gonna have that association and they're superior. That's just their own subjective experience that they're projecting onto you.
Well, hilarious. to be fair, white women are the most sought after race of women, like in the world, and it's usually it's girls between the ages of like 18 and 23. And the crazy thing too is like it's guys of every age and ethnicity, largely pursuing white girls between like 18 and 23, at least in the West. So it's like they have such an intense amount of demand, but such little supply comparatively.
And half of them are overweight. So yeah, like automatically, if you're a white girl who's not overweight, you're automatically going to have like a high value.
That's true. Yeah. 62% or whatever are overweight.
Is it really that much? 62?
Yeah. Overweight or obese. And I think it's more obese than just overweight. Yeah.
Damn, bro. Is that just women or just like
obese.
people?
40% obese and like 32 or something.
I'll pull it up.
Hey, I saw some comments flash. There it is. We have a comment. Oh my God, this whole time there's been a comment section. Yeah, I saw comments flash on the screen. Maybe we can keep rid of those. Might be kind of fun.
Do you want to pull one up in particular? I think you can.
You can just click on it, David.
Yeah, you can.
Just come up.
I'm not logged in.
Okay, well, just tell us. Oh, rookie fail
moment.
Fail.
I'll be right back. Y'all just continue, I guess.
Let's give David.
I'm excited for the QB Willie David Bond.
I know, but
collab or debate.
Austin's trying to do.
You're excited. Austin thinks it's brain cancer.
I think it's gonna be so entertaining.
Sorry about that.
I just don't find super petty stuff entertaining.
Fucked a bad white girl and I made her cry. Good job, man.
Austin, you're a smart dude, but you still don't understand YouTube. No one cares about value. It's all about petty drama. Like I've been trying to explain this to you for years, and you still haven't gotten it. It blows my mind.
At the end of my life, I'm not going to look back and be like, "Fuck, dude, I wish I engaged in more petty drama on the internet." That's not going to be the thing that's saving my life.
That's what I'm going to look back at. No, I mean I think that you want to have the right balance. You want to have value and like entertainment. Like you want infotainment. That's really what you want. If you just do like pure value, people are going to get bored as fuck. You have to spice it up.
Yeah, but entertainment and it doesn't mean being petty. Like entertainment could be other things other than being petty. Like do you follow that guy that like he's in Canada? He's like a weightlifter. He's makes really
More
entertaining
hardcore
videos.
Dave.
No, he makes like informative, entertaining videos. He
Bro,
lifts
science
weights.
life.
Okay, hold on. I'll find him. Hold on. But the point is, he does educational videos, but he's always throwing in like the most hilarious sexual jokes into his videos.
Well, this is what I try to do, but it doesn't have to be petty. Like it can be like a good discussion. Like that's the thing. Like it doesn't need to become petty.
But dude, it's just so stupid because it's so obvious what's happening. What's obvious that is happening is that people place stories in their head as to why they're not at the place that they want to be.
Dude, me and you
in
get
order
it.
to bridge the
Yeah,
gap. It's like, dude, I get that in
understand
5 seconds. How is that entertaining for more than 5 seconds?
Okay.
Am I wrong? I don't know.
Chat, talk some sense into this man.
But dude, you're appealing to the mob that is just let's be real. 90% of people are fucking retarded. Like
Whoa.
10% of your chat, 10% of the people listening, you guys are awesome. You're smart. You're intelligent. You're amazing. 90% of people are fucking retards.
Okay.
And they're attracted to low value stuff that's not going to produce anything in their life.
All right, let's do 10 minutes of QB. We'll cut it off literally after 10 minutes.
No, we can do we can do the I don't mind at all. I just wanted to explain that this is basically going to be proved there's not an invisible unicorn.
No, I mean I think that's a fair point. And I think why don't we let's do this. All right, QB, I'm sure you heard what David said. So start off by addressing what he said. What would be an acceptable level of proof that David could show you that would make you drop your accusations?
Right. So David, I'm going to be very, clear with you in regards to your harem quest, you traveling the world, being with, multiple women. Hey, I'm all for it, bro. But the reality is you're doing pay to play and you're wrapping it up as if you're getting these girls genuinely.
Okay, I'm going to mute you for a second. Just answer the question and then you can get into your opening argument. So what will be an acceptable level of proof that David could show you right now? Like just what would be that level of proof? That's the question.
Okay. Well, simple. I mean, him like actually going to a bar or a nightclub, meeting a girl genuinely, and if it's going to be Colombia specifically, it's really ironic that most of the women that you are with, they all speak English. I've been to Colombia before. I've been to Medellin. Like, it's like 90.9% of the women there speak Spanish. So
that's not actually true. I've been to Colombia and a good amount of them speak at least some level of English.
Okay.
But again, the question is, what can be a sufficient level? So you said go to the bar. What can he show you from the bar? Photos, video?
Photos, videos. He can do an IG live. He has Instagram. So pull up with an IG live of you meeting a girl in Colombia in the bar. You can show actual receipts with you and, the girl there.
Okay.
Is that possible?
Yeah. What if I strapped a GoPro to my chest and went up to girls and cold approached them? Would that qualify as something?
You don't see, this is the weirdness. Like, you don't need a GoPro to do that. You can do that with your phone. You can go to the nightclub, the bar.
The reason I say that is because I already have like 15 terabytes of that. The whole half my YouTube, well, most of it was privated after Nick got jailed, but the whole channel used to be that. The whole channel used to be. I could just unprivate videos and just send you like 20 now, and I have a 35-minute LA. I have a 35-minute United States cold approach pickup compilation video I made years ago, and it includes the rejections. You know what I mean? It includes all this stuff.
But show something current. Like, let's be honest. Like, are you really going to the bars and nightclubs and meeting these girls? Like,
no,
all the girls are just online dating, basically, right?
So I don't do. Well, hold on. I can address that. So it is correct that the percentage of women that I meet through cold approach right now is very low, but that's because the goals I have are different. Hold on.
Okay.
Let him finish, dude.
It's because to do what I'm trying to do requires a volume that's high, and it's scalable. I've already gone through 35 pairs of running shoes doing day game at the mall. I'm interested in things that are scalable now, which is running Instagram ads or doing online dating. with that, I can actually okay, just put in perspective. I've been in the Philippines for 3 weeks. I've gotten 2,500 DMs. How many?
You can show that on your actual channel.
Yes. I can pull up my my YouTube or my Facebook analytics right now.
You don't have to do that right now, but keep going with your story. Like, I don't mean to cut you off. But
how much day game is required to get 2,500 girls' numbers? Can you tell me an idea, maybe?
I mean, if you're a decent looking dude, you can crack them all with quote unquote day game.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is, if you're a man who values your time, what's more appealing? Getting 2,500 DMs from girls in your area that are targeted based on age, gender, and range, or putting on Nikes and hitting the fucking mall? Obviously, dude, it cost me like $100 to get like the whole city to know I exist. I'm being recognized while I walk around.
So you gotta pay to basically DM women? Like, that's bad, bro. That's
David,
that's
you
what
paid for an ad, bro? Dude, you
that's
paid
what
to
the
get
black pill.
exposure
Hold on, Austin.
bro?
Hold on.
Hang on. No, that's not the same thing. I pay for Tinder
You use
Gold.
money in your life, David? What the fuck?
Every single person uses
Michael
money when it
confirmed.
comes to dating. I have Tinder Gold. I have fucking Bumble Premium. You're spending money either way.
Okay, but my point is, Alex, is this guy, one second, David, okay, before you pull that up, this guy can't even meet women genuinely just going out, being out and about, he can't even use the JBW out there in Thailand. Like, he has to run this massive ad to get women.
He's not saying that. He's not saying he can't. He's saying he's choosing
Why would he?
more efficient. I mean,
Well,
it kind of
to me, again, when you have a channel and you have your audience and you're having these type of claims, this is how you can prove your credibility, David. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, okay. Well, the first thing is, the thing.
David, you only flew to the Philippines because you couldn't swim there, bro. Using something that's more efficient is always wrong.
I'm saying, the thing that you're asking me to show you already exists. It's already on my YouTube channel. Some of the videos are unlisted because, again, I had to private them.
But how come you can't do that now? If you have claims saying...
I can. There's no obviously. You think that 300 videos of me doing an activity, I can't now do it? Why? Because those videos, like, what does that even mean? Obviously, I can do it. I can do it.
One thing. I do understand the whole online, Tinder, Bumble dating thing as another source or avenue to meet local women. But if you're solely doing that, okay, then it is suspect that, okay, this guy doesn't meet women genuinely just being out and about, going to a bar or club or going to the beach.
So we have two theories, right? We have the conspiracy theory, which is what you're advocating, which is that I'm paying women.
It's not a conspiracy.
Yeah, it is. It is. You're advocating a world where I'm like right now that I'm Allie. I'm going to pay you money and just pretend to like me on camera, right? That's what you believe is happening, correct? Like, do you believe that's
yes?
Okay.
Yes.
I like you already.
Yeah. Well, obviously. So
and she speaks English.
Yeah. Well, in the Philippines,
perfect English.
Girls speak English. Like
I understand, Alex, but every girl that he meets speaks perfect English.
That's literally. It's not true. You don't watch my videos.
Yeah,
I do watch your videos.
I've seen videos of David where the girls don't really speak English that well. His like Thailand videos, like their English was pretty poor. There's nothing.
So what I want to say is, so the one is that the conspiracy theory, which is me, someone who has 500 videos, every video or a majority of the girls are I'm paying. Hey, pretend to like me. Hey, girl, I'm gonna give you money. Pretend that I cold approached you. And you know what I mean? Like, by the way, if this was actually true, why are so many of my girls not that hot? Why do I have so many average girls? Shouldn't I be picking really pretty girls?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What? Because we all admit
the average girls you can pay less. Let's be honest. When it comes to the pros, if they don't like you, they're gonna want a higher price. So when you go average, you can pay them a certain level of price.
So we have the world where I'm paying everyone to like me, and then in your mind, it's more unlikely that I would be able to produce a video of me putting a GoPro on my chest and talking to girls outside.
You don't need to put a GoPro, David. That's my whole point.
But why does it matter what format he uses, whether it's an iPhone, GoPro, fucking video camera?
Proof is only valid if it comes from a Sony A7S
Yeah, like,
III.
what difference? Can you answer this question? What difference does it make what camera he's recording on?
I mean, he wants to say the GoPro because he wants to go to the extreme. Like most guys are not going to go to a bar or nightclub and have a GoPro camera on them to approach women.
That's what he has. I don't understand why GoPro is not sufficient like camera. Like, why does that have to be an iPhone?
So
I mean, it can be. Hold on, Alex.
What do you have to do? So what model phone should the person have? Who should hold it? Where should I be standing? Just why don't you just write me a parameters? And then maybe I can do it. So let's say I do it. Then what happens?
Okay.
You apologize? I just don't understand.
No, if you can genuinely show to your audience that you're meeting girls, local women, okay, and you can do either live, go to these places, parties, events, whatever. Hey, this is how I met this girl, or be transparent about your Bumble date or your Tinder date. With a follow-up of the actual date besides just the match, then yeah, you would have some credibility. But if you just got a bunch of naked girls, hold on. If you just got a bunch of half-naked girls in your bedroom and it's a different set of women throughout the whole video, then it does look sus.
Okay, so what's wrong with the GoPro footage that he has? Like, why is that not acceptable proof?
Okay, Alex, I don't think you get where I'm trying to say is like
I'm a little confused. What's wrong with the GoPro footage?
The GoPro is fine, but to go to a nightclub or a bar or some type of setting like that, most guys are just not going to whip out a GoPro.
No, but he's not doing it at bars. He's doing it at like day game and shit. That's what he said.
Okay, if you use it, that's fine. But some girls would be like, okay, why is this guy approaching me with a GoPro? Like,
you've obviously never approached the GoPro. Most don't even see it or ask about it. Most just think that you're.
GoPros are tiny. We use it when we film our infield. No one ever knows.
Okay, well, hey, use it, David. If you feel comfortable with that, that's fine. But again,
well, I'm going to tell you that I'm not going to do this, obviously, because there's no reason to do it.
Wow.
I'm not going to spend. I'm not going to spend my days doing something to prove to you. Like, to be fair, I have a little bit of bigger vision of what my life should be than just proving random things to dudes named QB Passport. Okay.
You're proving the black girl, man.
You want to make history, dude. You got to hear the voices in my head. I think I'm God, bro. I'm like kind of like Kanye West. Like I'm really scared. If I go to therapy, it's gonna be problems. Like I am not doing it. I'm not. I already have done this. I already have.
David, you have one dropped argument, and it's that lots of girls look sus. So how do you respond to lots of girls around you that look sus?
That's another argument. I didn't even go there yet, but that
you said that, but David dropped it. So David, you got to address that.
What looks sus about them? Like maybe he can clarify.
Well, how's this? Why don't we do this?
Why don't you have multiple girls?
Why don't we pull up my Instagram? Because my Instagram is going to include almost all the girls I've recently met. Why don't you just? This is great. Pull them up, and I'll give you their Instagram, and I'll let you guys just DM them and look at them, whatever you guys want to do. Just pull up my Instagram right now.
No, again, I don't understand why you don't want to accept the challenge. I mean, it's easy to DM girls.
He's saying he has better shit to do than walk around trying to prove to you that he's legit.
He doesn't meet girls organically. He has to message women to meet them. Like that's bad, Alex. Like
it's already been produced.
The majority of girls I bang is from online dating too. It's just more efficient.
But hold on, Alex. Can you? I got a question for you, Alex, really quick. Can you go to Colombia and meet a girl during the day or at night? Like, are you saying that you're not capable of doing that, Alex?
No, I am, but when I'm in Colombia, I typically...
And this is the harem that David says that he has. Wow. Exposed.
Vast majority of girls I meet from, like, when I travel is still from Tinder and shit because it's, like, more efficient. But, yeah, I can do it, but most of my results come from online.
So all I'm doing is challenging David to meet girls organically than meeting girls through Messenger.
What he's saying is he's already done that. He has video of him doing that. He doesn't understand why.
Years ago.
Well, why does it matter if it was years ago?
Why does it matter at all? That's just the lead source.
Well,
that's like saying my business does outbound leads versus.
Hold on.
Michael Jordan was good at basketball years ago.
No. So again, if he doesn't want the stereotype that he pays for women, that's a way to kill it.
Yeah, but what you're first of all, you're simply repeating something that's been said for almost a decade. And in the past, when I tried to address it, the people just simply said my evidence was fake. So I've already played the whole like convince the random guy on the internet thing, and it's fun, but I'm interested in so I don't care what people think, but I do care what people think if they have a life that I want or if there's someone I respect, right? So if Austen or a peer was skeptical, I would be more inclined to be like, look, man, like I respect your opinion. Here's what I got to show you. But, with all the respect, I don't know.
You're selling a product. Hold on, David. You're selling a product that guys can achieve the harem quest, basically. And basically, this product is you got to DM 2,000 girls to achieve this. Where I'm saying it's like, no, you don't have to do that. It's BS because these girls are paid. How come you can't go out and do your harem quest, meeting girls face by face? And you refuse to do that. You don't want to accept that challenge.
But that's no different than you refusing Kevin Ray Wilder's challenge. I mean, you just
I was willing to accept Kevin's.
Just saying that he has better shit he has to do.
I was willing to accept your challenge, Kevin. Okay.
Yeah, after you ran away for months straight, and I said I'll send you a video of me fucking a girl, and then you're just like, oh no, that's disgusting. That's gross. That's literally more evidence than you'd ever want. And unfortunately, QB, I'm moving again in a month, so we can't do it anymore. But
you're going to the extreme again. All I asked you to do was pull up a Vegas, and you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. You couldn't pull up. I said 8 or higher, and then you have this product about, oh, I met a girl EDC or whatever.
It's in my course, day 8 in my course. If you want to see it, you have to go buy the product, QB. So go ahead.
Well,
it's only $147.
I'm not going to buy
you claim one time. Hold on. You claim one time that you make 6 figures, right?
I do make 6 figures, over 6
okay,
figures.
Okay, that's hilarious to me that anybody would ever pay somebody with an IQ of yours 6 figures. But that's
the insult.
$147. Hold on, $147 should be nothing to you.
But why would I want to pay for your product when you don't show receipts? I'm sorry. I'm not going to pay for dating. No. Alex has a girlfriend, okay? Austen, I don't really know too much about you.
Is that the barrier to entry to be a dating coach is have a girlfriend?
Hold on.
Oh my God.
Alex can show his girlfriend. Alex has also kissed girls on camera. So there is some credibility about, okay, this dating coach has somewhat results. Maybe I might want to go buy his product. I cannot say that about
So hold on. Fine, don't buy it from me then. But if you want to see,
then don't ask me.
If you want to see the receipts that you want,
right? You gotta pay to see your receipts.
But I guess, how do you know that I don't pay my girlfriend? Like, I don't understand why the same argument.
Yeah, and why is me having girls in this house right now not
like? You can make the argument that I pay my girl.
Because David, they're on salary, bro. Plus weekly bonus or whatever.
Wait, so Alex, you're asking, how do I know that you don't pay your girlfriend?
Yeah, like why does
I mean, you could you admitted to being on sugardaddy.com or whatever that website. So right, so you
guys,
I'm
just curious. Wait,
I'm just giving you the benefit of the doubt.
How in the world do you make 6 figures? I'm just curious. Like,
don't worry about that. I run my own business, so that's how I make sense. Yeah.
Post your receipts.
Like your passporting business, the thing that you just started?
Nope.
Post your receipts.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, there's no way that anybody would ever pay you a salary in general, much less 6 figures. So you probably
now you want to install.
Make it somehow.
I'm sorry that you're broke living at home, Kevin, in Texas.
All right. This is
12 o'clock. It's time for your payment.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry you're a broke
Thanks for being on the live stream.
And I'm not even trying to go there, Alex, but if he wants to make ad hom attacks, I'm going to fire back. It's just.
I mean, dude,
I'm
I
not even
don't
trying
care.
to go there.
I'm moving out of here in a month, and also one of the reasons that I'm staying with my dad is because I haven't seen him in like 3 years. So yeah,
You
I'm
went
sorry
to
that
Vegas
family
broke,
values
and
matter
you're
to me.
still broke. You're broke from Coach White Pill, and you haven't got a job since. Like, give
Well,
it
that's
up,
'cause I don't
Kevin.
have-
Go get a
I don't
job
have a
at Target or
All right, wait,
something.
what
Or
game
We
is
should
maybe
that?
you
do a
could come
roast
work
battle.
for me.
Oh
Come
my
work
God.
for me, Kevin.
Okay, great.
Come
What do
work
you
for
do?
me.
I'll consider. What do you
I'm
do?
I'm gonna have you winning, bro. I'm gonna have you winning if you come work for me.
Come on, QB. Tell me what you do. I'd highly consider it. I am
What
Yeah,
so
would Kevin's
I
response
desperately
run
broke
be?
that
my
I
own
need a job.
business, and it's construction related. So you can come work for me. You can stop being a broke cell, and then maybe you might have some success with
Dude, I
women.
cannot imagine you handling anything construction wise, because if you handle anything construction wise, you would have gotten a Darwin Award by now. 100%. There's no way that you can handle any sort of equipment without accidentally harming yourself.
Okay.
So you are just
All
lying
right.
right now. What's the name of your company?
Don't worry about the name of my company, bro.
All right, it's been great
QB,
having you on,
You're the
QB.
gift that keeps
Yeah,
on giving,
yeah,
bro.
thanks for coming
The
on.
chat
Hold on,
actually
hold on.
liked this.
I
It
wanna-
was
I
pretty
wanna-
entertaining.
Hold on, David. So are we in agreement? Are you ever gonna meet girls normally without messaging? Are
Why
you
does
ever
that
gonna do
matter?
that? I'm asking him.
Alex meets most of
Before
his
I
girls through
leave,
messaging.
I'll,
Why does
I'll
it matter?
leave. I'm just asking if he's gonna accept that challenge so we can put this to rest. So I ain't gotta hate on you, or there's no disclaimers so that you do pay to play.
But the claim that you make is that I'm paying women.
Yes.
So why is meeting a girl on the internet bad and then meeting a girl on the street good? Like what? So
meet it. You meet
what if
all
I
your.
pulled
Hold on.
What if
you
I
meet
pulled up
all,
my Instagram DMs right now and I let you pick the chat and we could read the whole thing?
No, bro.
Oh, you did that? That's not enough?
David, I would like to see some footage of you in Thailand meeting a girl out at a day club,
But
a
that's what he's
beach.
saying. He has,
or-
dude. That's what
I
he's
already
saying.
have that. That's
He
already
has
exists.
that. But you're
Well,
saying it's
again,
not good because he's wearing a GoPro or something.
No, Alex, you
Or-
specifically asked me, what does he have to prove that he's not paying girls? That's what you guys asked me. This is the whole reason why I came on here. So I'm saying, look, besides messaging women, okay, go out and meet a girl organically to establish that credibility.
No, I know that, but
That's all I'm asking.
What's preventing me from just paying them and be like, hey, like we're gonna make this video? Like what's stopping you from saying that?
You could do that, okay, but since you're up to the challenge, you would not do that. You would say, look, I can do this. I don't have to do this, but look, I'm going to prove to my audience that
If showing you my Instagram DMs in full, that wouldn't qualify. I'm just asking. I mean, I don't know why.
again, it's messaging women. Hold on, David. It's messaging women that you admit that's all you do. That's all.
Well, they message me. I don't message them.
Okay. I could, dude. My brain was hurting. My brain was hurting.
Austin is just fucking
What-
removing people.
Point where
left and right.
it just, the logic just breaks down, and you're just being a retard. You can't. You get kicked off.
Well, I want to make one
All right.
closing statement about one thing. So
That was hilarious.
it is true that in some sense, cold approach is a little bit more of a respectable, like kind of a manly way of like, getting a girl. But my goals are, I'm not trying to meet a girl. That's not the goal I have. My goal is to build a harem. So that requires a lot of volume because most girls, a very high percentage of girls, number one, don't want to be a part of this. And then the ones that do don't want to be filmed. And so then you're talking about, like, we're talking the funnel that I have is so epically big because the result is so hard to get. I mean, there's a lot of girls that said, like, man, this looks really crazy. Look at this Instagram. Like, I'm interested. These girls are pretty. Like, but there you go. Look, I just can't be filmed. I'll lose my job, or whatever. Or my mom will see. So the amount of volume that's required, it's not conceivable to produce with day game. It's not enough. Like the amount of approaches, even if I was on
dude, I did the math on it. I did the math on it where you asked for it before. You would, if you did if it took you 5 minutes to get a new number, it would take you like 208 hours to get the amount of phone numbers that you're asking for.
Yeah, 2,000. Yeah.
208 hours, which is a lot of time.
What is that in days? Well, let's say 16 hours a day. So 208 divided by 16.
It would also be exhausting as fuck. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, cold approach is fairly inefficient. There's some advantages to cold approach, but in terms of efficiency, it's pretty low. Like,
yeah, and it's I think it's the thing that transforms you the most, the type of game that transforms you the most. But once you've accomplished that transformation, then you start thinking of efficiency, right? So that's when you link up with promoters and photographers and whatever, and you establish social circle game, or you do online, you do Instagram ads. Yeah.
It's a little bit like poker, like online poker versus real life poker. Like there's like a debate in the poker world, like which one is, people are like, look, if I can't look you in the eyes, it ain't no poker, stuff like that. But then if you play online poker, you can play 4 tables in a row and you can do 100 hands an hour.
Some people do like 12 tables at a time.
Yeah. But, so it's a question of goals. It's a question of like if you're a guy who's really shy, I think cold approach is what you should be doing. Whereas I think what I'm doing is you should not be doing it because you're trying to address a problem, shyness or whatever. But I think there's a point where if you've already put in the time and the hours with that, it's almost like there's a bit of a foundation. And now you can start doing weird, fancy stuff. Kind of like Justin Mark. Justin Mark, there's no question that a lot of the girls he's meeting are probably from his promoter nightlife thingy that he's got going on. But Justin Mark's a really charismatic guy who's already done the whole cold approach all day long stuff. So he has a foundation to build on top of it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm 36. I'm 36 years old. I got goals before I get 40. I'm really trying real hard to like claw at this shit. I'm trying to get fit. I'm trying to get money and I'm trying to get a harem. And I can't accept these slow, inefficient methods that are time consuming. I have to use scalable stuff. I have to use the internet, which to be fair, that's the way things are going. Girls use the internet, man. The average watch time on a phone is like 8 hours. If you're some girl who's like 20, dude, your watch time is basically all day long. So to not take advantage of that exposure is just stupid. You know what I mean? I ain't going to be putting on no motherfucking Nike shoes and running around for Mr. QB. It's stupid. It's not interesting. It doesn't give me anything. It doesn't accomplish anything. And the best outcome is that this guy who I forgot existed is going to continue to be forgotten. Like, it's not interesting. So,
dude, if it means anything, you absolutely just destroyed him. But more than anything, he destroyed himself. He always does that when he comes on and debates any of us. So
yeah, he moved the goalpost. First, he said you can't.
Yeah, that's what he always does.
He's like girls, which is that's a no true Scotsman's fallacy. It's basically like, well, that's not a real way to meet a girl.
Allie.
Yeah.
Here's the pain.
And then he said lots of girls look sus, but that's what your fucking goal is. And then he moved the goalpost to make your harem from day game or night game, but not.
Well, the English one was weird because like I traveled to Colombia and like there's a good amount of girls there who speak like some level of English. So I don't know why he's saying.
Guys, can we start calling him QB goalpost? Because that's literally all his arguments. He just keeps shifting it once you handle any objection that he has.
And then if David did go do a GoPro and made a harem out of it, he'd be like, well, he's paying him anyway. So
which is better, QB goalpost or goalpost Willie?
I guess like
let us know in the comments.
I'm like sort of flattered, but I'm a little confused why like me showing my girlfriend counts as proof, but like anytime anyone else shows a girl, it doesn't count because like I don't know. Like,
dude, I literally debunked. I literally
you just use that argument for my girlfriend that I'm like paying her too.
I literally showed him a video once of my ex like grinding up on me at a club, and he's like, "That doesn't count." Like, I'm telling you.
I've been in the group chat with David, so I've seen him like researching harems before he even like had a harem. So he was reading every fucking book he could get his hands on. He was like listening to everything he could get his hands on, like to learn the skill set and failing along the way. First having like a couple threesomes, and then he like left the country, and then he started having more threesomes and foursomes, and it blew up in Colombia. So like I've seen the whole progression of everything, so it's very incremental. But I could see how someone from the outside, if they just saw like David with like 47 girls, and like they're like fucking some 5 or something, they're like, what the fuck? Like this is obviously fake, but it's not.
Yeah, another thing is like you're not going to be posting all the awkward like half like you can understand there is a bias with when you watch someone from what they post. You're only seeing what they post. You're not seeing what they don't post. Obviously, right?
All right.
So
Let's. Sorry. Go ahead.
that's it. That's it.
I was saying, let's do closing thoughts because I want to keep the stream under 3 hours.
Agreed.
Well,
and I want to
I'm
eat
gonna
food.
But I mean, no, I mean this is fun. I mean, you guys are free to have me on again, and I will say
Hell yeah,
that
bro.
Yeah, dude.
you know,
Sure.
maybe like some closing thoughts would be I think that the topic of dating and relationships is it's something that it's better to discuss with like lots of different people with lots of different views who are in lots of different places than just one guy in front of a podcast screaming, or whatever. Like, the truth is something that can be you can get closer to when you have a lot of different collaborations kind of all versus like one guy in one city that has one reference, one place, like I live in this street. Let me tell you about the truth about women from 3rd Street on this, it's like not meaningful. Right. So, but yeah, super fun. It's cool. You guys are fun to chat with.
That was a great time, man.
Yeah, dude, you should come on again.
Well, I have to go to the ATM because this girl needs her payment. She needs to get her. All right, here we go. Have the money. Thank you for pretending you like me.
You're great. There's nothing I can do.
Dude,
Dude, David is a fucking hilarious guy, man.
Let's really quickly talk about how every single thing that Austen has in his room resembles a penis.
That is interesting.
Nobody
okay.
cares. Work harder. There's something dick related there for sure.
Harder.
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 Cool,
Yeah,
cool
there you
stream,
go.
guys. We're gonna do another one. We have a set date, so we're gonna do these Monday every night at 9:00. Let us know in the comments what topics you want us to cover for next stream. We're gonna try to keep it interesting. Hopefully, you guys all enjoyed that. Subscribe to everyone's YouTube channel: Austen, David Bond, Kevin, Avery, me, and yeah, a lot of good shit.
That was a fun ass stream.
That was a good one.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Have a good one.
See you guys.
All right, guys.